Welcome to something to talk about. Welcome to something to talk about.
Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, you know that. And this is a Star Wars video. This is a giant Star Wars video. Why am I doing a giant Star Wars video? I only do was talk about some fire crap, right? Well, actually, no. I did Star Wars stuff for a super long time on this channel. Not only that, but it's my birthday. My birthday is Star Wars Day. My birthday ain't a Song of Ice and Fire Day, so we're going to talk about 101 Star Wars Force users. I'm going to say they're like in a list, but I love literally everybody on this list. So, you know, it's all my opinion and it's all like, don't take it even serious. Just because I have Crook higher than your favorite character doesn't mean I don't like your favorite character. I love way more than 101 Star Wars characters. So if they made it to this list, I love them. So calm down. And what am I doing here? So I'm doing a Star Wars thing. What am I doing? I'm going to have on a guest who I worked with for a very long time. I used to have a Star Wars podcast still on this channel, by the way. And I figured instead of me talking at you guys on my birthday, by the way, I went out for lunch and got a couple tacos and some margaritas. So I'm a little toasty. So to give me a little hand, I have one of my favorite human beings on the planet who I haven't had to do a video with in a long time, or got to do a video with in a long time. And their Star Wars knowledge is as much as me, but in different areas. And they have not seen this list. So I'm really pumped to introduce to you guys Marie Wilson. Sup?
Hey!
Hi.
I am so excited to be here, Taco.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to do this. Look, I made a thumbnail and everything.
Ooh.
Yeah, I put the little nubs in the corner for you.
I was about to say, you got one of my favorites up there.
Yeah.
Oh, I left him in the other room. Dang it, I meant to bring him in here.
I'm sorry. So I don't want to do any more of an intro because I feel like I did too long of one. But like I said, I'm gonna be pounding water and trying to sober up a little bit. I had some lunch margaritas, and we're putting this out like right after we're done filming it. Marie, do you have anything that you want to say before we get to my 101?
No, just happy May the 4th. Happy birthday.
Happy Star Wars Day. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. Tomorrow I'm going to see Phantom Menace in theaters. So
that's today. And also like it's today at like our bigger theater, and then I think our indie theater is like playing them all. I'm trying to ignore it because I wanted to do stuff today. Oh my god, that's all staying in. Okay, my mouse fell off my leg and I had to catch it, and as I caught it, I backed everything out. I went on a 15-mile bike ride, and that's when I had lunch in between. So I'm like half drunk of tequila. So let's go. With my 101, we got Darth Thanaton. So Darth Thanaton is a character from the MMO of the Old Republic MMO. He's just like kind of, if you go 100% into Sith sorcery, he's not really like in his youth. He used the lightsaber, but not so much when you fight him. He's just pretty much a giant conduit of Force lightning, and that's kind of all he is. And I kind of like his design. I like his kind of just the idea of what if Force lightning was a character. So that's my first guy.
I like his name.
Thanaton. Yeah, Thanaton. That's I'm trying to remember his first name. Teneb Kel, I want to say. Oh my god, I pulled that so out of the far reaches of the cockles of my brain. If I was right, let's find out. Teneb Kel, Star Wars. Was I right? Yeah, it was. Wow, cool. Yeah,
nice.
Teneb Kel first. I can't believe I just pulled it. Yeah. He rocked a double-bladed lightsaber before he stopped using lightsabers. So that's pretty cool.
Very, very cool.
All right, so number 100. All right, I've got to tell you, I have my quota of old school Sith in here, so there's going to be a lot of I do. All right. So for everybody, I have legends and canon, mostly legends, but that's because there's more legends. I do have almost every avenue of canon represented, except for the Ahsoka franchise, like TV movie. I didn't have anyone from that. But besides that, or TV show, I pretty much have like every avenue of canon. I hope that are Force user like centered, right? Because there's a lot of like rebel stuff, right? But
yeah.
All right. So number 100, we have Lord Khan. His name was Shere Khan, and that didn't get anyone mad. Like his name was the villain from what's it called? Jungle Book. But Lord Khan was the leader of the Brotherhood of Darkness right as Darth Bane decided to rule of two everything. So the thought bomb that Darth Bane put off that killed a lot of Jedi and a lot of Sith was his. He pretty much got Lord Khan to do it, and it killed off almost all Sith. So Darth Bane could rule of two.
So with that, who was Darth Bane's
master?
Second one?
Somebody we're getting to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Lord Khan was just somebody he had to get out of the way. So he could rule okay. So this is like the mob boss, and he murdered the entire mob to make two guys.
Oh, right? Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, he thought bombed. And we're going to get to a couple of Jedi from that era really quickly, too. Sweet. It's not my favorite era, but it is represented. Almost everything is represented. But we got a Clone Wars representation now. I think you might recognize Nadar Veb.
Yes.
So Kit Fisto's Mon Calamari apprentice, like easily one of my favorite arcs. Like 2 episode. Is it 2 episodes or 1 episode?
I think I want to say 2,
but it's really quick. But
yeah,
it's great of seeing this like a new knight who just has all this power and responsibility, and he's kind of overstepping his bounds. He's kind of a little too, but I like it because Nadar Veb is like, what if a Jedi becomes goes from apprentice to knight during wartime, and then you expect them to be chill? Like, of course he's not chill. He's in war, and he grew up in a war. So I love how Kit Fisto trying to talk to him as if Nadar hasn't seen some crap, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love Nadar. I've heard a fan theory that they should have not killed Nadar and then gave him Pong Krell's arc later on. And I've always loved that idea. They didn't go that route.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it almost sets up Pong Krell, you know, because they have the same, Nadar Veb and Pong have the same disillusions of the Jedi.
Right.
I just realized I don't have Pong Krell on this list.
Oh no!
Whoops! All right, I'm gonna say right now, if your favorite character is out of this list, I'm really sorry. My favorite characters are on this list. Like I have 200 favorite characters. It was very hard to get them all on this list. I don't have the amazing flying torso Ma either, and that really bothered me because he was on this list and kept getting knocked down. And finally, I'm like, fine, I'll take out Ma. All right. So a Jedi from the same time as Lord Khan. So he was a Jedi Lord. I have 2 Jedi Lords, and here's the first one, Lord Hoth for 98. So he fought against the Brotherhood of Darkness, and the Jedi were very different. As we see, this is about 1,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, BBY, 1,000 and some change. But Lord Hoth wasn't supposed to be fighting a war, and then he got a bunch of the other Jedi to go fight the war, and he, because he saved the Hoth system, he got the name of Lord Hoth. So a lot of person very soon. But what do you think of Lord Hoth, and do you have any questions?
My thing with him is his hands.
Yeah, it's bad art.
They're huge.
They're huge. Yeah,
They're ginormous.
It's comic book art, so it's like goofy perspectives on purpose.
It's like whoosh.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember early 2000s comic books, but everybody had mitts for some reason. They had really small feet and really big hands. I don't know. But yeah, have you ever heard of Lord Hoth?
No, I haven't.
Well, there you go.
That's pretty cool.
What's up? I might not be the most like I feel like I always feel like I don't know anything about Star Wars, but at the same time, like I have like small knowledge of everything, opposed to really deep knowledge of a few areas.
I mean, your Legends knowledge is like.
But I haven't like read all of the Legends books. That's the thing. Like it's like I got Wikipedia knowledge in like 4 or 5 books here and there. Opposed to people who are like, I read it all. Like, well, I needed to get a wife and a job. I don't have time. All right, moving right on. Here's a character you'll know. I think this is gonna be the first time you're gonna say, how is he not lower? So I'm sorry. But I got Tara Sinube.
Oh,
I know.
I love him.
So Tara Sinube has the lightsaber cane, and he has a really good, almost like gumshoe detective episode of the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Right? It's really good. What do you got to say about Tara Sinube?
I just love how, I mean, like you said, like the gumshoe kind of episode, that detective storyline, and how he's very level-headed, but he's very capable, even though he's
absolutely.
Old.
Yeah, really old as dirt.
Yeah, like walking with his cane. I mean, it's similar to like Yoda walking around with his cane, and then he's like, bam! Like,
well, I love that this is the introduction of the saber cane, which is like top 3 sabers for me. Like, I love the hiding your lightsaber in your cane of being this like almost like, oh, you didn't know I was completely. It's literally like Yoda dropping his cane and flipping all around, but as a character, like as a lightsaber. Like later on when Darth Maul has a saber like staff cane when he's like old man Maul. That's the same thing. Like, oh, you didn't know he's one of the greatest Force users of our era? Oh, okay. Darth Maul's not on this list.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm winking.
like,
winking. I know, I saw it. All right, so I got one other Jedi Lord. So this guy fought with Lord Hoth, and I'm gonna sell you. If you don't know who this character is, Marie E. Wilson, you're gonna love him. His name is Valentine Farfalla. And he is half Bothan, so his legs are furry, if you look. Yep, so he is a Bothan human hybrid, and he's very flamboyant. He's very goofy. And he's still like a complete badass warrior, but he's like a very flamboyant elf, but a Jedi. I love Valentine Farfalla. Also, it's one of the greatest Star Wars names of all time.
That is wonderful.
Yeah. If I knew there's a good chance you've never heard of Valentine Farfalla, so I want you to now know he's amazing and check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. And I love that he's half Bothan. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Since, like, that's always the weird Bothan thing.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people who are into Bothans. I'm not going to say the word furry, but I did. All right, here's a character you're going to talk about. So I'm going to step this one out because we got one of them High Republic characters for you. So for number 95, we have Aphra Chris.
Ooh.
Who's this? Who is this character?
So she is, and I'm not going to be able to get things exactly correct, unfortunately, but she is the leader, basically, of the High Republic Jedi. Okay. And she does this cool thing where she connects with the minds of multiple Jedi and
kind
is
of like
able
battle
to...
meditation or battle mind.
Yeah, like they're all able to communicate with each other in a
Yep.
battle, and it's epic to read those scenes.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's battle meditation or battle mind, which is the stronger version of it. It is huge in canon as well, or in legends as well. So yeah. So yeah, here's our first High Republic character. Anything you want to say before we move on to our second High Republic character?
Is she riding a Rancor in this picture?
Yes, she is.
I dig it.
Yeah, I thought so. All right. Now for our second High Republic character, well, we got Nubs.
Woo! Yeah!
94. I'm gonna state right now, I don't have the other three on here. Nubs hit me more. I almost switched him out for Kai Brightstar. But Nubs is a character from the Young Jedi Adventures. I was literally watching it with my daughter earlier today before I went out and got tequila. They left. My daughter and wife left. So I got to go have birthday drinks. But Nubs is, I'm going to say something insulting, but I like Nubs because he doesn't fall victim to like child Disney show writing. Like, because he doesn't speak English. So he gets to just be a full-on member of the team, but isn't hampered by like the power of friendship will defeat you. Like, yeah. No. I'm sorry, but that's a line they said in an episode I watched today. Like, I got a power you don't have, the power of friendship. I was like, okay, Disney, calm down. I know it's a Disney show, but Nubs gets to just be really awesome and adorable, and also he's super curious and very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have anything you want to say about good old Nubs before we move on?
I just think he's absolutely the most precious little thing ever. And even though you don't understand anything he's saying, everyone in the show understands what he's saying. And it's like it's just the cutest thing. And I have a little stuffed Nubs. It's like this big.
That's so cute.
And he's so cute.
That's great. Love Nubs.
And I do like how he's really strong too. Like, he's a little bitty guy, and he's super strong.
He's like he's the Hulk of the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going from two canon characters, one like two pretty hardcore canon characters, and to a hardcore Legends character. So we got oh wait, no. Oh my god, I was looking at the wrong. I thought this was somebody else. Never mind. This is still canon. This is Taron Malicus. This is also canon. He is a bad guy from the first Jedi. This is Jedi Fallen Order. I did have on the list kind of the main High Republic / bad guy from Jedi Survivor, but he ended up getting bumped. He just got bumped. After kind of getting all the art together, there was like 4 or 5 people. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have that guy. And it knocked a few people off. And he ended up getting on the list, Taron Malicus. So what I love about this guy and what I really want to talk about with him is Taron is Obi-Wan Kenobi, 100%, right? He goes in hiding right after he's, a new Jedi, I want to say master or close to a master during the Purge. But instead of going to Tatooine, he goes to frickin' Dathomir. Right. And he goes further and further and further into the dark side. And he really does seem like a dark version of Obi-Wan Kenobi when you run into him. Like, he's just as wise. He's just as powerful. But he went down the emotion of like, well, the Jedi destroyed themselves. We're nothing. And not only he doesn't quite embody that like hatred towards the Jedi that like a Barasafi might, but more of like the dark side's gonna help me survive. And he's not only one of the hardest boss fights of that whole game, but he's such a cool character. He rocks 2 red lightsabers, like is also kind of using his influence to control Dathomiri witches. And it's like a really cool whole part of that first video game. So I wanted to bring him in because I like the idea of the like Elseworlds Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will admit I started playing that game years ago and I got stuck on the train and I couldn't figure out how to get off the train.
Oh no.
And I gave up on it. I need to go back to it and try to figure out how to get off that train.
So this is the first one. I played all the way through the first one. I didn't play all the way through the second one because fighting games started coming out. And I had to switch my video game priority over to Street Fighter and then Mortal Kombat, now to Tekken. So now that I'm playing Tekken, I haven't finished Jedi Survivor. I should, but I got far enough to almost have a character in from there. And then I got spoilers when I had to look them up for this, and I didn't even put them in.
No.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's a dude who you see him bleed a crystal on screen. So it was like one of the coolest things I saw. He takes his lightsaber he had before he's from High Republic. He takes his lightsaber out that he had before he was put in like stasis. And he picks his lightsaber, and as he's talking, he takes his crystal, holds it, and then he bleeds it mid-conversation, puts it in, and starts up a red lightsaber. And I was like, coolest thing I ever saw, bro. Like, holy crap. And because I didn't finish the game, that's not enough. There's just that one scene's not enough to get you onto the list. I mean, there's really big characters who didn't quite make it on the list. There's only 101. You think that 101 is going to be enough, but if I want to kind of cover everything, it is not enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, that's Terran Malicus. Also great design. He's got a lot of scarification on his chest too. So let's head down to some KOTOR. So we got some KOTOR 2 characters. KOTOR 2 has a pretty big presence on this list, actually. Not as big as they need, but here's Vices Mar, who is Darth Nihilus's apprentice. She has a really amazing backstory. She's a really cool character in KOTOR 2. She's an apprentice of a scar in the Force, like somebody who literally uses Force drain to eat an entire planet, and she survived that. I want to say she's Mira Lucan, so she doesn't have eyes, or she just lost her eyes, but I want to say she's Mira Lucan. She's a really cool character. I don't remember too much about her now, but I still remember loving her in my playthrough of KOTOR 2, and just how also I love her design. But the eyeless swordsman's always cool, but the idea that this horrible scar of the Force, one of the most powerful Force users of all time, drinks the entire planet's life force, and she survives, and he's like, looks like you're my apprentice, and she's like, okay. Because what are you going to say? Like, nope. So, great character. I don't want to give away her plot in the video game, but she's awesome. So, I'm going to move past the characters I know you don't know anything about. I'm assuming KOTOR and KOTOR 2, you're kind of nothing on?
I've never... Yeah, I want to. You have to get them for PC, right? At this point?
Yeah, at this point. Or you could always watch a playthrough on them too.
That's true.
Yeah. But all right, I got a clone. I think this is my first Clone Wars era Jedi Council member.
Oh.
You're ready?
Yeah.
They didn't all make it high because there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
There literally would be a quarter of this list. So I'm going to say right now, they didn't all make it. A lot of them did. A lot of the Jedi Council and Clone War era Jedi made it, but a lot of them didn't. So sorry, Eddie Gallia, you didn't make the list. I apologize. But guess who did? Saisi Tin made the list.
Oh.
Yeah. I love me some CEC 10. Itachi with the cool horns. If you ever watched the Clone Wars micro series, he has that really cool battle armor that shapes his horns that he wears in that. It's super badass. But
I've only seen a couple episodes of that.
I mean they're not canon, unlike TCW that is canon, but it's still really entertaining because it's like what if Samurai Jack but Star Wars. Pretty amazing. But yeah, Saisi Tin's not only a really cool design, but a very interesting Clone Wars era Jedi. You got anything you want to say about good old Saisi Tin?
What I would like to say about him is that he looks so demonic.
Oh, absolutely.
And so evil, but he's not. And I think that's just super cool.
Yeah, no, he looks like he should be a Sith, but he's not at all. He's a really humble and really wise Sith or Sith Jedi. He's also the first guy we have who gets murked by Emperor Palpatine on this list,
Yes.
right? Isn't he part of the fight? I don't think I have all of them, actually, because, yeah, I don't have the Zabrak. I don't have Aegir Kolar on here. Uh-oh. Dang it. But I have a bunch of obscure people you've never heard of. Yeah. I had to take the Amazing Flying Torso off this list, too. So
I'm bummed about that.
I had to bleed a little as well. Okay, so I got another KOTOR 2 character, and this is Atris. So one of my favorite designs, but also Atris is kind of that representation of what if the Jedi Council's like their idealism gone too far, the Jedi Order to an extreme. I don't want to use the fascist word, but it's kind of that like you'll see it a little bit, but it's the like she follows the code so much that it's detrimental, and she becomes kind of an antagonist of the game. But I do really like Atris. She's also essentially the leader of what's left of the Jedi in KOTOR 2, because there's a big Jedi purge. The three main Sith, the Sith Triumvirate, are kind of killing off Jedi, and also they kind of killed themselves off during the Jedi Civil War. And she's a really fascinating character of idealism kind of gone too far. And yeah, great design. I love the white hair, pale skin, and everything's white, and then the light blue lightsaber. Yeah.
She looks very ethereal.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and that's a thing that I'm sure you've seen in canon and other things that you've read of the is the Jedi code correct? Like, is it? And that gets questioned a lot. And she's kind of that like gone too far Jedi code character. One of them. Yeah.
I'm really curious how that personality would have played in the Clone Wars era.
I feel like we've seen like I would put Mace Windu at that like Jedi code gone too far.
Yeah.
Of the Jedi, especially kind of the ones of the main council, are so clouded and up their own butts during Clone Wars that they have coffee with the Sith Lord every day and they don't even notice. Like, that's how far up their patooties they are. So
yes.
So I would say that it's there. But yeah, she's like taking that to the complete extreme. I got my first ancient Sith for you. So I'm gonna talk about an event for like 3 characters, and it was when Marco Ragnos dies. It was a Sith leader, and this brought in the Great Hyperspace War, is what came out of his death. So after he died, 2 Sith, I would say purebloods, but mostly purebloods, because there were human Jedi or Dark Jedi who came and created the Sith, Ajun Tapal, and so they breed in. But it's mostly, Sith pureblood, you could say. They're mostly the Sith race. But there are 2 people who then fought for the power, and one of them, the one who failed, is Ludo Kresh. Ooh. So Ludo Kresh is really awesome, but he's like your conservative candidate, right? So the 2 people who literally have a sword fight for the power of the Sith, there's Ludo Kresh, and there's somebody who we're going to get to later. Not too later, but later. And Ludo is the let's stay isolationist. Let's stay on the planet. Let's not attack everybody else. Let's, he's the conservative Sith. And I kind of love the idea that the 2 Sith candidates are just like the presidential candidates of our time. There's one dude who's like liberal, like, let's go attack the Republic, and then there's one guy who's like, let's just stay here. What are you doing? Let's do what we always did. What are you gonna go do that stuff and lower the taxes? Little Kresh is the lower the taxes Sith, and I literally made that connection as I was putting this together. And I'm like, what should I say about Ludo Kresh? And it's like, that's really funny. But also, so he does end up losing to somebody else. And then he actually ends up betraying the guy because he's still at heart. He's a Sith. So I think he either shoots on, like fires on the gunship of the dude who gets a control, or he just doesn't go helps them. But it's something like that. But yeah, I don't know. There's Ludo Kresh. Here's our first old school Sith. What do you think?
Yeah. I just love the fact that the Sith were an actual species. I think that that's always been super interesting to me. The books Lost Tribe of the Sith is one of my favorite. It's Legends, but it's one of my favorite. It was written for I'm gonna say middle grade, leaning towards young adult.
Okay.
And it was like 6 books, and it talked about all that, and it's so good.
Yeah,
so good.
Well, that era is extremely important because it's pretty much when the Sith attack and also make themselves known. So it stops being Light Jedi and Dark Jedi, and then after the Great Hyperspace War becomes Jedi and Sith. All the evil Jedi after that are Sith because of that plan. And then, of course, it's Korriban, and now it's Exegol. Please don't let me talk about that. Korriban, Morabon, but the idea of this Sith homeworld that is part of like an entire area of the galaxy that they took over, but like Korriban, even like during the time of this ancient Sith Empire, it's like their holy planet. Like they only go there for hardcore stuff, like to bury their Sith, like the Sith rulers in temples and pyramids, but also they go there for their like elections, essentially. Like I love the idea of this, like the dark side's a religion. Like that's what I love. Like not like really hardcore religion. And not only that, but if you want to be a powerful member of the society, you are a dark Jedi. Like and I like it because it takes away Sith from just being evil Jedi. They're not, they're their own thing. And like that's what I've always liked. And also that Sith doesn't actually just mean evil. It means using the Force not for balance and monk crap, but for using the Force for ambition and using it for passion. Because I'm a passionate guy. I'm not a Jedi. I'm not a Sith. I wouldn't consider myself evil. But you think if I could Force lightning people that I wouldn't use it passionately? Like, you know what, nerd? Like come on, man. And that's what I really like about that era. Not so much Ludo Kresh specifically, but that era of showing that they're not just in this evil thing. They were just like, Anyways, I got one more KOTOR 2 character, and then I'm gonna move on to a canon character for you. I'm gonna throw you a bone. So we have Mitra Surik, who is the main character in KOTOR 2. She's just called the Jedi Exile, and of course you can play this character as a male or female or whatever. But in canon, the Jedi Exile is Mitra Surik, and she's a really interesting character. Like I said, the main character of KOTOR 2. So you kind of start off with her not knowing anything, just like in KOTOR 1, but you find out that she was like a Jedi during the Civil War who went for the dark side, and now she's kind of getting brought out of exile and used to not only bring the Jedi together, even though a lot of them, like Atris, kind of reject her, but also to fight the Sith Triumvirate. And then afterwards, her and Revan go off to fight the real evil after the second game. That's we only see in a book, the Revan book. But yeah, Mitra Surik is interesting protagonist character. Yeah. So
I was wondering how Revan related with that.
Revan's the main character of the first book.
Okay.
Of course, you can make him look like anything, but canonically, he's a white guy with long hair. But yeah, so he's not in the second game. But it's stated later that she meets Revan and they go off to fight the real villain, who's also on this list later on. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. Okay, ready for some canon crap?
Yes.
Are you ready to get mad that he's not higher? Got the Grand Inquisitor.
Oh.
Yeah. 87. I know. He's really cool. But the Grand Inquisitor is just a dude who's really good at his job. Like, he doesn't really have too much going for him besides that. He's just the best Inquisitor. I love that he's a Powan. Don't get me wrong. And his lightsaber is, top 10 lightsabers of all time. I love the Inquisitor lightsaber. But the more Inquisitors we meet, the less cool Grand Inquisitor becomes, I think. Because
Valid.
they all have that lightsaber.
Yeah.
And he's just the better of them. Like, that's like how it comes out. Like, he's just the cooler of them. No other Inquisitor makes it onto the list. I'm sorry.
And I like how he has that temple guard reveal.
Oh yeah. Because what would an Inquisitor be from but the most indoctrinated, less faithful version of the Jedi? So it like made a lot of sense of the like dude who's like, I just sat and I guarded these dudes. Like, I've never went out and found wisdom, And yeah, because like Qui-Gon Jinn can't be an Inquisitor, because he's out finding himself and out, but he, the Grand Inquisitor just sat and breathed the code.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also wanted to say that the Sith code, you were talking about passion.
Yeah.
The Sith code is so much more appealing than the Jedi code by like 1,000%.
Yeah, 1 million, 1,000,000%. Like, yeah, no, 100%. I love the Sith code, and but the Sith code's like everything that we were told as not only Americans but people who grew up in late stage capitalism, of that, like, no, you gotta go get it. And then the Jedi code's like, nothing matters. Nothing means anything. Just live the Force, love the Force. And it's like, lame.
Yeah.
Dude, if I could shoot lightning out of my hand, you think I'm not going to, like, use it when I'm road raging every once in a while? This guy cut me off. Does he not know I can shoot lightning out of my hand? Yeah, slow down. It's like, Yoda's never been in line at Starbucks. That's all I'm saying. Like, he's never had to deal with it. Mace Windu's never ate at Waffle House at 2 a.m. He doesn't know. Doesn't know what us common Sith folk got to do. Anything you want to say?
One thing I'll say about Grand Inquisitor, in Kenobi, when I believe it was Kenobi, where he shows up at the beginning, and then you're like, wait, he can't die.
You can't
I'm
kill
confused.
up the Grand Inquisitor.
Why is he dead? And then it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you just do some Grand Inquisitor stuff. You didn't know. No, I was super upset. I was like, what? So Rebels isn't canon? And then it's like, oh, never mind. Rebels is canon.
Yeah, so that was a big bait and switch because I was so confused.
Yeah, no, and I don't know if I loved his casting in that, because I think of a Powan as being a giant, huge, tall, and like imposing physical feature, like, this big, lanky guy, and the guy they got was kind of like average, like not physically tall, skinny, like imposing, but I also do love just his design of making him a Powan, because he looks like Pinhead. Like, there's nothing more demonic looking than a freaking Powan. They look so, all right, Iktachi and Devorians, but besides that.
They also eat raw meat.
Yeah. So. Any humanoid carnivores? I'm in. Yeah, hardcore. All right, let's get weird. You want to get weird?
Yeah.
We have Bak Aseka. So Baka, I see your face. I love Baka Aseka. Baka Aseka was from Jedi Dark Forces. So this is a member of the Inquisitor Jarek's 7 Dark Jedi that fight against Q-Ron and later Kyle Katarn. And if Marie knows anything about me, it's that I love anything to do with Kyle Katarn. So if you're in those video games, you're probably gonna be a little high up the list. And Baka Seka is like an ambush predator. He's this tortured, nasty, pale, sickly Twi'lek that fights 2 lightsabers, and he just is a predator. He's not a duelist. He's not even an assassin. He's a killer. He's a murderer. And that's what I love about, like, when you fight him, he just, like, is an ambush predator at you. He hides and jumps up and just flails 2 lightsabers and then runs away. Ugh. And he's like, oh my God. It's like all the romanticness of Dark Jedi or the dark side is swept away. And he's just a monster. And I love it. I love it. We were just like, oh yeah, dark side's great. And then there's this psycho over here. Like he's what a lot of people normally think. Oh, if I play a dark side character, I must be a psychopath. No, but Baka Seka is playing it that way. Okay. Any questions about Baka Seka?
His design, I mean, he has a little more meat on his bones than Beezer, but he reminds me like his kind of look reminds me of, I believe it's Beezer Fortuna.
B Fortuna. Is it Beezer Fortuna?
The guy in Rogue One.
Bib Fortuna.
No. His cousin.
Oh no, I have no clue. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. He's in Rogue One.
Okay.
Briefly. I'm trying to type it on my phone.
Oh yeah, keep typing.
Beezer.
We have a character for you after this. And I just realized we're going to be here for a long time.
Look at this dude.
Oh yeah, here we go. Oh. Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, that's creepy. Yeah, no,
He's so creepy.
Yeah. Baka Seka and him get, they're in the same chats. They're on the same forums. Creepy Twi'lek's looking for a good time. Oh man, Beezer's on here again. Okay, you ready for a complete pellet cleanser and somebody who you love?
Sure.
Somebody bring it back up from nasty stuff. Okay. Gunji.
Oh.
Yeah, I know you love Gunji.
Yay.
Yeah. You want to talk about Gunji?
So he shows up he recently showed up in because he's in Clone Wars.
He's in Bad Batch.
He showed up in Bad Batch. Yep. So we get to see him again, and it's really exciting because he's a fun Wookiee Jedi.
So, of the Gathering Padawans from TCW,
yeah,
Gunji's always been my favorite, and that's telling you right now, I don't have any other ones. I'm sorry. But Gunji is my highest one up, and I'm glad they brought him back in Bad Batch. And it's the only reason I've almost wanted to continue watching Bad Batch, but I still haven't. I tried to watch it when I was coming out, and I just didn't love it. And I was getting bored of it, and I was like, oh, I'll watch it when it's all done, and I just never did. So maybe I need to go and watch all of Bad Batch. But once I heard Gunji's in it, I'm like, oh man, maybe I should. But
yeah, he's lovable.
Yeah, I love Gunji. In wooden lightsaber too. Come on.
Yeah, the whole I love that because Wookiees are so in tune with nature and the wooden lightsaber.
And that's taken from Legends because like Tyvaka has a wooden curved lightsaber. Like the idea of Wookiees carrying wooden lightsabers was a thing that they brought in from canon. Which is cool.
Yeah. I there have been some pretty awesome things that they have cherry picked
from Legends. Yeah, I said from canon. Yeah, from Legends. Yeah. All right, ready for the next? I didn't realize how far behind we are. Holy crap, we gotta go. We didn't say none of us declared how long this video is gonna be, and I was like, it's gonna be as long as it needs to, and now it's like, man, we're not even out. Where was this? 85? Holy crap. It's gonna be like freaking 3 hours long. All right, let's do some more Legend stuff. So we got Hazen. So Hazen is the main bad guy of the Knights of the Old Republic comic book, which actually has nothing to do with Revan. Malik is only in a little bit, but it takes place beforehand. But it's Lucien Dre and Zane Carrick's comic book. Hint, hint, you might see those guys later. They're amazing. But Hazen's kind of the main bad guy, and he's this idea of a failed Padawan who didn't have a lot of power, who then manipulates everybody from the shadows, and actually gets the exciting incident of this comic is all the Jedi think that one of they're Jedi seers. Everybody but Lucien Dre has the power to see into the future. And when they all look into the future, they see that one of their apprentices will be the next, like, Exar Kun would be the next big Dark Jedi. So they slaughter their apprentices on their inauguration day. So, and then Zane Carrick is late. So he shows up and all the masters are standing over dead bodies, and he's like, and then leaves. That's the first comic, first issue. Read this comic. It's so good. It's so good. Clearly, I'm going to have other characters in it later on. And I mean, like, all the side characters that don't make it into my list are really good. But Hazen, turns out he put all those dark visions in all their heads, and he's just getting them to kill, and he's actually the dark force that they were sensing, and then he got them to kill all of their apprentices. It's so sick.
Oh,
and
wow.
Hazen then goes and gets all these dark side artifacts, like collects them and uses it to pretty much make like an uber powerful suit. Not really a suit, but he just piles all these artifacts on top of each other, and he gets extremely powerful, and he almost kills the main characters at the end. Hazen's super cool. I love the idea of this, like, crippled, failed Padawan, like, oh, I'm just going to collect, like, a bunch of ancient, freaking hardcore Sith artifacts and kill all of you. Like, it's so Sithy, you know, like Shadow Sithy, like Master of Whispers Sithy. I love it. I love it. So,
I do have a question about the artwork. Is his skin like?
I think he's pale, like dark side degradation.
Okay,
but he's missing an eye. Yeah.
Okay, because it looks like it. At least on his face, there's like these bumps.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It might just be dark side degradation. I know one of his is fake, like the arm he's holding up is mechanical. He gets exploded.
Gotcha.
When he was a Padawan, he gets exploded. So he gets completely messed up and crippled, and he can't become a Jedi. So it's almost like you root for him too, because he got dealt such a bad hand.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move. Let's keep moving. So we 83, we got Kreia, who is the first of the dark side triumvirate, the Sith triumvirate of KOTOR 2. I do have KOTOR 1 on this list. They're just higher. I'm not just hanging out with KOTOR 2. They just, a lot of their characters in that below. Kreia is the kind of dark side mentor that takes the mentor duties over the two other of the Sith triumvirate. So Dark Nihilus and Dark Scion, who are both like scars of the Force, and they're both extremely powerful, extremely powerful. And she's kind of like the puppet master ringleader of them. And she also tries to do that too for Mitra Surik, the main character who we already covered. So she starts off like she's like the betrayal of the game, right? Like she starts off as like oh, I'm just hanging out with you, but really I'm one of the Sith. And she, I believe it was Revan's first master as well. So that's her ties to the original KOTOR. But yeah, Kreia. She's fun. She fights with 3 lightsabers being controlled by force, like levitation around her.
Wow.
She just like sits like this, and then 3 lightsabers just rotate around her. That's how.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I love Kreia. We got one more Deep Legends, and then I'm gonna throw you a bone. So Lord Vindican, or I call him Lordy Vindy for my 82. Lord Vindican is another pure-blooded Sith hiding behind that Darth Maul helmet. Not Darth Maul, but that Sithy helmet. And he is full-blooded Sith. He rocks a double-bladed lightsaber. He is an Inquisitor. He's a Sith Inquisitor. And he is the master of Darth Malgus. And if you have never seen the Old Republic MMO Returns trailer, do yourself a favor. It's one of the best lightsaber fights of all time, and he's in it, and he's super cool.
I love it.
Yeah, I love Lord Vindican. He gets killed by Malgus at the end of the trailer. It's so badass. He's like, they're staring at Korriban, like they return to Korriban.
Oh, I think you've sent that to me.
I made you watch it. I know I made you watch
it. Yeah, I've seen that.
And he gets stabbed through the stomach by somebody who's later on this list. And he's looking at his home, and he's like, finally. And he's like dying. He's like, we made it to Korriban. And in Malgus, his apprentice, lights his lightsaber. He's like, welcome home, and cuts his head off. It's like, oh, yes! Oh, metal! I love the Sith! Welcome home. Oh, thank you. All right. You ready for a bone?
Yeah.
All right. Vanestra Rowe for 81. All right, yeah. Yeah, I thought you would like it. This is more for you, but also because the little I know of Vanessa Rowe, she's fantastic. She sounds fantastic. She sounds like a really interesting character.
Yeah, and she has a light whip.
Yeah, so it's a lightsaber that she can hit a button to make it stiff like a normal lightsaber, but when no one's watching, because light whips are like dark side, she will turn into a light whip, right? Like, that's what I read.
Yeah, so...
I made a short about it forever ago.
Yeah, she was really nervous about it at first because it was something she was drawn to do.
Yeah.
And she ended up doing it, but didn't really tell anybody. And then it became necessary in battle. And she started using it, and they're all like, what are you doing? What just happened? And she had a discussion with one of the older Jedi, and they were like, oh, well, you know, like talked with her through it and made it a better, like everything was okay. Cool. So that was pretty cool.
I like that. All right.
And she's also asexual.
Oh, there you go.
So.
All right. Fun. So yeah, so that's why you covered her on Aphra's artifacts. Got it.
Yes.
When it comes to the High Republic, I dabbled a little bit. Like, I read that a lot of the comic book, and I have a character really high, like not high, but pretty high down from that. But like I like the little bit I've looked into Vanessa Rowe, I was like, oh man, really interesting characters. So yeah, made it on. Now for something completely different, because we have Odan So Odan was...
gosh.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. That's a proto lightsaber, by the way. That lightsaber is plugged in, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, dude. So pre 5000 BBY, before the Battle of Yavin, he is around during the Great Hyperspace War, and also after. So he is on the Osis Jedi, like, Praxium way back in the day, and he is like the Jedi librarian historian. He's also thousands of years old, so he's kind of like the Yoda of his time, where he's around for a very long time. And a lot of the Jedi from this era, so like Exar Kun, Naomi Sunrider, Ula Keldroma, Kay Keldroma, yeah, some of them are on this list, don't worry, like, kind of look up to him as the old wise man of that era. And also he's got that complete badass proto lightsaber.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Odan and a really great name, really like hideous design. And I love the idea of this like monstrous 1,000-year-old guy is the really wise historian, librarian of his time, like teacher of his time. So yeah.
Yeah, if I walked into a room with that dude, I'd turn around.
Peace.
And walk the other way.
You're clearly a Sith. No, I'm actually the librarian here. What? So let's look at a Sith from that time, shall we? Because we got Warb Null. So Warb Null has one of my favorite lightsabers of all time. But not only that, so he is a blacksmith who was on the planet. I want to say it's Osis, but now I'm messing things up and people are going to get mad. But the planet that I don't have my phone on top of me, so I can't sneakily look things up. But it is the planet that somebody else on this list, who I also can't, Frida Nad, takes over later on and then becomes like kind of the king of that planet. And this dude was a blacksmith who finds like how to make this Sith armor. And he makes this Sith armor, and the Sith armor pretty much takes him over. So he gets like kind of embodied by this ancient Sith war. And yeah. And let's see, make sure it's Onderon. That's why I can remember it. So it's Onderon is the planet that Frida Nad takes over. So he's essentially this giant hulking Sith sentinel who's being controlled by like this ancient Sith armor. But not only that, but let me explain the lightsaber. So it's like this long, the hilt is. So it's like this giant staff, and it's a great lightsaber. So the blade's giant and it's green. But if you flip it over, it has a red lightsaber in it too. But I feel like you can't carry them both at one time. So it's one or the other. So it's a giant red lightsaber or a giant green lightsaber. And the armor is found by like a Jedi or somebody during the Clone Wars. And there's actually a comic where somebody's using the red lightsaber and the armor during the Clone Wars, which I've never read, but I know that's a thing. But anyways, I know it's like, wow, he made it that far up over everybody else, but I love the idea of this gigantic Sith sentinel with this giant green lightsaber who's just this like powerhouse.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he's just controlled. He like reminds me of like Nightmare from Soul Calibur. Like he doesn't have any thoughts. It's just murder and kill and destruction. Like he's like this like Gollum of the dark side. Like, it makes it's so sick. It's so sick. So
I like the whole armor thing.
Yeah.
Armor taking over.
Sick too, like the big, huge spiked armor.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right. I got one more ancient Sith for you. Well, I got a few more, but I got one more right now. So we got Naga Sadow. So Naga Sadow is who wins the fight over Ludo Kresh that I was talking about. And he takes over the Sith to attack the Republic during the Great Hyperspace War of 5000 BBY. That's all I got. We can move on. We don't have to spend more time. I feel like we talked a lot about that with Ludo Kresh, but he ends up losing. Sorry, Naga Sadow. He's great. And also a great design. I love the pure-blooded Sith, like the Egyptian with spikes and lightning, right? Like
I love the spikes.
Yeah, awesome. And the face noodles. Who knew that face noodles could be so scary?
Yeah, right.
So now we're going to new Jedi Order legends. So we're going Luke's Praxium in Jedi Order, but in legends, because we have our first character from that, and we have one right after. Actually, we have Corran Horn. So I don't want to spend too much time on Corran Horn, but he's really big in a lot of the books with like Jenna Solo, Jason Solo, kind of all those new Jedi Order books. And also it's like he comes from like a dynasty of this Jedi's that like he doesn't have like normal like conventional Jedi powers like Force push, but they like have Force lightning. Like it's this weird like family descendant of Jedis that have different, almost like genetically different powers. And it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. And yeah, I like Corran Horn. I don't want to get too much into Corran Horn because we have so much left, and now I'm starting to want to speed up. I feel like every time we do a list, it's like the first 20 or first 10 and the last 10 have the most, and then in the middle it's like, cool, we gotta start going. We're an hour in and we're only, was that 77? Holy crap. Get 5 hours to get this. 5 hours. So then we have another new Jedi Republic or new Jedi Order character. We have Jaden Core, who was a protagonist, is the main character in the Jedi Academy video game. So it's one of the sequels of Kyle Katarn's video games. So he is Kyle Katarn's apprentice. So he fights a lot of the Cult of Ragnos characters, these reborn characters. A really cool video game. And Jaden Core, and then of course from that video game he moves into a lot of the books and becomes a really cool character. But Jaden Core's really powerful. He's like Kyle Katarn's apprentice, and man, do I love Kyle Katarn. We're gonna talk about Kyle Katarn more before we even get to him. Are you where do you think I got Kyle Katarn? You think he's in the top 10?
I think so.
We'll see. Here's one for you. Keith Trennis.
Ooh, Keith Trennis. That is Skier's.
Yep, apprentice.
Correct? Skier's.
Yep. Skier's.
Apprentice. Padawan. So she's pretty awesome. I remember mostly from the comics.
Yeah, she's like the main of the comics of that time. She's kind of the main character, at least in the beginning of them.
Yeah. And goes through so many difficulties with Skier succumbing to this virus or disease and of his brain. And man, Keeve is there, constantly there for him. And I just love that. She's like, I'm not going to give up on him.
Yeah, I really loved that comic, and I really love Skier too. And we might talk a little later, but I do love Keeve, and the little bit of that comic I read, I really enjoyed what she goes through, and also she kind of does that, like, sees the Jedi Order for what it is, and then breaks the rules that she feels she needs to break, without actually turning dark side at all. Which is a good Jedi bends the rules, period, because you can't be a good Jedi and follow all of them. But,
one thing about the High Republic is that it is much more okay with rules being broken, at least in certain situations, because they're like, well, you're human, or not. You know what I mean? You're you're a sentient being, so you're going to have emotions, and you're going to deal with things, and so we don't want to make it so strict that because that's what went wrong with
absolutely, and that's what's wrong with the New Republic or the Republic Jedi. The end of the Republic is the fact that they take the code so strict. Okay, so we're now for something completely different. Now we have the dinosaur man who is the apprentice of Luke Skywalker, becomes a powerful Dark Jedi. We have Dasan.
Yes.
I know I love Dasan, but he is the dinosaur man failed apprentice of Luke Skywalker with one of the coolest lightsabers I've ever seen. So his lightsaber, the hilt is like a morning star. It's a spiked ball club. I know you can't see it here, but he could just turn around and kill you with that. But it's also got a really long hilt or really long blade. So
I know,
it's just
it goes off the screen.
I like, how did Luke Skywalker do that? I'm back. Okay. I think I'm back. Am I back?
Yes.
All right. So Dasan is from the Jedi Outcast, so another bad guy of Kyle Katarn. Talking about Kyle. All right, let's move on. So this isn't the guy who you think it is. This is his clone from the second one, because we have the Starkiller clone. So this isn't the Starkiller from the first Force Awakens. This is the second one. So they are two separate characters. So I just love everything about Force Unleashed. Did I say Force Awakens? Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
1 and 2, both the video games are so good. But Force Unleashed 2 that's where we get the Starkiller clone. And yeah, just like, what if you're born with absolute power and you come out as an adult with all these fractured memories, but also you're easily one of the most powerful Force users of all time at the same time. Yeah, I don't want to get too much of the Starkiller clone, but he is super cool. And in that weird pocket of legends, he's one of the founders of the rebels, of the rebellion. He's one of the main founders of the, like, which is really cool. But yeah, I love the Starkiller clone. We might see his original later on, but that's for Starkiller clone. Okay, now back to New Jedi Order. We have kind of the opposite of Cornhorn. We have Kip Durin. So Kip Durin is a really interesting character, and he's kind of like he's kind of more punky and goes with his own flow style Jedi of the New Jedi Order of Luke Skywalker's New Jedi Order during like legends of that era. So yeah, Kip Durin, again, I don't want to get too much into Kip Durin, but because we've got to move on, but really fascinating character of kind of, it's weird of how he kind of is at the same era of these other Jedi, but he kind of sees the Force and the Jedi and what we're supposed to do very differently. And there's a lot of like almost philosophical arguments between Kip Durin and Cornhorn and Kyle Katarn and even Marjade Skywalker and Luke Skywalker. Like, he's kind of like the weird hippie of the bunch. That's what I love about Kip Durin.
What color is his lightsaber?
Purple.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. Does it look pink?
It looks kind of pink. So
Yeah,
I was like, wait
purple.
a second.
Yeah. I don't think there is a pink lightsaber as far as I know. There might be, but yeah. All right. Now we're going super far into the future of Legends. We have our first legacy character. We're gonna have a couple legacy era characters. Sorry. But we have so this is the time of Darth Krayt and Cade Skywalker fighting against them. And there are two Jedi that help them every step of the way that are Jedi that are a little older and wiser than Cade. And one of them is Wolf Sazin. That's not who this is. And the other one is Shadow Vayao, who I love. I love Shadow Vayao with his double-bladed lightsaber. Yeah, just, you know, because I love Twi'leks who dress like Gambit. You know, you gotta love it. So yeah, Shadow Vayao, who's in a lot of that era, and he's one of the ride or dies with the good guys in that. So
that's cool. I like the cross-hatched.
Yeah, like all wrapped up.
Get up.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. He has a really cool lightsaber. I want to say it looks like a standard, and then he extends it to a double.
Oh.
I want to say it's something like that. He's got a really cool lightsaber. I did a short of it like 2 years ago. So. Gotta love Shadow Vayao. All right, ready for a character you know?
Yes.
Scared. Here he is.
Scared.
He didn't make it too far down, but man, do I love the giant Trandoshan Jedi. Like, there's something so cool about a species that are so bent on hunting and violence and killing becoming a Jedi, but he doesn't like lose any of that. He still kind of keeps his brutal nature, but he does it for the Jedi, which, man, I love that. And he goes through just complete hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything you want to say about Skier before we move? I kind of want to keep moving, but
yeah, no, you're good. Just that brain disease that is something really intense.
It's like this really dark plants, zombie stuff that gets inside him. Yeah.
It's just all kinds of crazy, but he has really, really good friends.
Yep. And
power of friendship.
He did the power of friendship. Shut up, High Republic. Get out of here. All right. Ready for another Clone Wars era Jedi Council member?
Yeah.
It's been a while. All right, cool. Because we got Yarl Poof.
Nice.
For 69. Didn't do that on purpose. But yeah. Because, you know, me, I can't do a list without Yarl Poof. Also one of my favorite lightsabers of all time, because it doesn't look like a normal one. It's like skinny, like a big like blob at the end. It almost looks like a flashlight. Like he's got a really cool looking lightsaber. But yeah, Jarl Poof, the Quirmian Jedi. That's the name of his race. They are they're also four-handed with really long necks. Oh, God, I love Jarl Poof. I would talk about him more, but we gotta move. My brain, I'm like, oh, if we covered like a character in a minute and then kind of go a little longer for the other ones, we can do this in 2 hours. And I'm like, character a minute? Are you kidding me? What are you thinking, Mark? All right. Now back to what we were saying earlier with the Knights of the Old Republic comic. You have the main character from that comic. We got Zane Carrick, who really cool. He kind of has to do a lot of like spy and kind of hiding from everybody because he's pretty much being chased by his former masters throughout the whole thing because they think that because he's walked in on them killing all the apprentices that he's getting hunted by them throughout the majority of the comic until Hazen, you find out he's a bad guy. So yeah, Zane Carrick's a great character. Love him. That's all I got. I kind of want to move. I can't tell you to move on and then I don't do it myself. So yeah, Zane Carrick, that's our Republic comic. Awesome. Ready for the first Sith of all time?
Oh.
Yeah, we got Junta Paul.
Oh.
Yeah, doesn't look like it. Yeah, doesn't look like he's the most evil guy on this list, but
no.
But he absolutely is. Kind of looks like your dad who's into football, but no, he's actually like super hardcore Sith. Shows up on the planet and ends up like taking control of all the Sith too, which is super badass. Yeah, founder of the Sith Empire. So moving from him back to Force Unleashed, we have a character who's in both of them, who is one of the first examples of the Blind Swordsman. We have Ram Koda. He does end up losing his eyes later on, but Ram Koda is a Clone Wars era Jedi who survives the Purge and kind of travels on like a really cool Ronin samurai, and he's one of the dudes you're supposed to kill, but of course you don't. And yeah, he later like loses his eyesight, but I really love Ram Koda. I love he's like the first Kanan Jarrus, like late stage Kanan. He's a lot like him. Yeah. So
very cool.
That's what I got. Ram Koda, really sweet. Now for the other video game. So this is Jedi Dark Forces, like what I said earlier, where Baka Seka came from. But this is the dude who is Kyle Katarn's like Jedi master, but after he dies. So the 7 Dark Jedi and Kanan or Inquisitor Jarek. Did I mention I'm doing all this up top of my dome with like multiple margaritas? I feel like I'm doing really good.
Yeah, like 2 thumbs up.
You remember how drunk I was when I first called you? Like I only had like 1 glass of water. So this is not Koda. Sorry, Q-Ron. And Q-Ron is really, really cool. He goes and visits Yoda on Dagobah, and Yoda's like, he's like, hey man, should we like worry about like the Chosen One? And Yoda's like, no, I got a guy for that. I want you to go find the Valley of the Jedi. And then Q-Ron dies because Jarek is looking for that. And then he ends up coming to Kyle Katarn as a Force ghost, and he becomes his Jedi like mentor, like his Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this is Kyle Katarn's Obi-Wan Kenobi, Q-Ron, and he's a really interesting character.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, really powerful in the Force, and I like it because he doesn't rock anything special. He's just a dude in his robes. Like he's really much that the embodiment of the end of the Jedi Republic or the Jedi Order, but like done right. Like he's like spiritual. Like he's very, very Qui-Gon Jinn-ish. Yeah. So, okay, we got another character. We got a couple. Oh, I got 3 in a row. I got 3 Clone War era Jedis in a row for you.
Okay.
So first one, Luminara Unduli. Why did I say Kanduli? Unduli. Well, first typo. I feel like I did pretty good. First typo. Holy crap. All right, go ahead.
So Luminara Unduli, love her. I actually modeled my costume when I went to Revenge of the Sith when it premiered. I modeled my costume after a mix between her and Barasafi.
Nice.
So I had like the chin diamonds, and it was so much fun. I made a robe that was purple and velour, and it was super fun. But yeah, I love her design.
I'm trying to
Absolutely
remember
love her design.
off the dome, Miri Allen, right? Is there a race?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miri Allen Jedi are so cool. So cool. And her and Barasafi. I gotta ask, so Luminalin Dudley is the Form 3 Sarisu master along with Barasafi. Do you think I don't have Barris on here, or do you think I have her lower than Luminara?
Oh. Well, she has a very interesting story. I will say that. Barasafi has a
So you
very
think we have yet
interesting
to see
story.
Barris? Is that your vote?
Potentially.
All right. Well, let's do a couple more Clone War Jedi. None of them are Barris. Because we got Operensis.
Yes.
The serpentine beard facade freaking Jedi. I love him so much. I love Operensis.
That image is incredible.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. That's him fighting Sora Bulk, who we might see later on in the list.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
It's super cool. I love Operensis. I love his beard face. I love his serpent body. His forearms. What's there not to love about Operensis? If he had a little more to do, he would be way far down this list.
Yeah.
But like on design alone, I'm like, he's in the top, like he's at least 20 in, and then it's like he did one thing. Cool. Bring him down to 63. He fights Sora Bulk, and I think Sora Bulk sneaks up behind him and ices him. Like kills him later on. I think it's been a long time since I read those comics, but yeah. All right. I keep hiccuping. Let's not break the momentum of Clone Era Jedi, because do you remember Marie E. Wilson of Aphra's Artifacts, also known as Alia Morgan? Do you remember my favorite Star Wars species, my favorite race?
Oh gosh.
Do you? I'm just curious. I brought it up a lot. I know I did.
Is it something that's like common or not?
Semi-common.
Twi'leks?
Not Twi'leks.
Not Twi'leks.
No, we haven't seen it yet, and we're only going to see it once.
Oh, okay.
No, not
I'm
up there.
not sure.
It is Lanix, and that's why Evan Peel is 62.
Yes,
it's my favorite
I
race.
knew that.
I thought you knew it.
I did know it. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I love Lanix so freaking much. They're like the younger Yoda race. they're like half Yoda race. Like they got the big ears, but they're slightly taller. They're not green. They're not as wrinkly. Evan Peel, for some reason, has a Russian accent in the cartoon. Don't know how he got it. I love Evan Peel so much. I wish we got more with this character. Like right now, the like last couple were the like I really enjoy their designs and I like the initial of what we learned about them, but we didn't get enough of them out of like Clone War Jedi. I do have more Clone War Jedi that are like, well, we did get more, but yeah, I love Evan Peel. So friggin' much. I always wanted to do Star Wars versus videos. I never ended up really doing them. But if I ever did, it would make me mad that I can't really use Evan Peel because we never see him in a fight. So, like he just fights like, battle droids and stuff, and that's it.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's all I got. Moving on to our next one. We were just talking about him because he's the guy who kills Q-Ron with a force of dark side energy, just like a ball of it, like a Hadouken of dark side energy. Yeah, Inquisitor Jarek. You don't have the Grand Inquisitor without Inquisitor Jarek. Like Inquisitor Jarek was the first ever Inquisitor of Legends, and he is Miralukan. He is extremely powerful. He also rocks Makeshi. He is like the Count Dooku fanboy. He's got a really cool story. Like during the Purge, he was a Jedi archaeologist. So he was like out in the way out in the Outer Rim and like studying Sith artifacts. So then when he came back, it's like, oh, all the Jedi are dead. And he's like, fine, cool. I don't care. And then he just pretty much like, so Emperor, what's up? And he's like, okay, you really? And he's like, yeah, I never cared about the Jedi. I'm just here to study Force. And it was just because he's like the Force, like historian, but like he just does it for this knowledge. So then he starts hunting for the Valley of the Jedi. And that's why he kind of ends up fighting Q-Ron and then later Kyle Katarn, looking for this really powerful nexus to possibly overthrow over Vader and Empire and the Emperor. But man, I love Jarek, dude. Come on, look at this, a beast. I love him.
Yeah, he's quite intense.
Yeah, super intense. And I like that he's pointing at you.
Oh,
he's
gosh.
like, you need to join the Inquisitorium.
Oof.
Yeah. So we got a couple more ancient Siths. So this is one of the most ancient, and actually the first one canonically, I believe, named Darth. Because we have Darth Ndedu, who I know I brought up Ndedu before, but I love this dude because he's lived for like 6,000 years, like inside a sarcophagus, just like sucking the life force of everyone who comes by, and has an entire planet still dedicated to giving him life energy. You know when he comes back up in Legends? Is in the Legacy era with like Darth Krayt 200 years after the Battle of Yavin. Somebody goes and fights him. Darth Weirlock the Third like goes to his sarcophagus in 6,000-year-old Ndedu's like, I'm here for your life. And he's like, no, I'm actually going to kill you. And it's like, what? This dude's like 6,000 years old. I love Ndedu. He's like pretty much separated himself from the old Sith Empire because he's like, they're going to all eat themselves. So I'm just going to go to a like inner core planet of Prakith and just like suck on life for 6,000 years.
Oh my gosh.
And he's so old school Sith. Like, come on, what's not to love? Like, oh, so cool. But yeah,
his face looks like a skull.
Yeah, he's a zombie essentially. He's a reanimated corpse of dark side energy with a cool, like, kind of Egyptian feel to him. Also, when he goes full on dark side, he gains like arms of dark side energy. He has like 6 arms around him. He looks like an old god. Like it's,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, Darth Ndedu is so cool. I made an entire role playing game based on Darth Ndedu. Not gonna lie, I did a dark side role playing, a dark side campaign where they fight in wars to kind of lower all these Jedi's like gain them in dark side points so they're easy to turn, and then I bring them to Darth Ndedu's tomb, and then he flips them and then makes them be Sith, and then they try to conquer the universe. So that was a game I ran.
Oh wow.
And it was really fun because
awesome.
it ends with like the last one who's alive goes and visits Ndedu, and he flips into their body and then goes back to sleep. It's like, I know how I'm gonna keep this canon to Legends. I'm like, nope, he's just gonna have to take the most powerful one at the end and just go back to nap. Because it's implied that he has taken multiple bodies over 6,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for something less Sithy, we got Aayla Secura. Yeah. Very nice. So this is the most fun version. I didn't want to grab a picture of her that's just all sex appeal because female Twilight's, right? So I wanted to grab a little more fun one. But yeah, Aayla Secura is super cool. She's cool in both canon and Legends. Quinlan Voss's apprentice, and you see her die in Revenge of the Sith. She has a really cool arc with Volfe Karko. I can't believe I just grabbed that. That was all off the dome. Where Volfe Karko comes back, and he's an ancient Sith, and mind controls her, and then Quinlan Voss has to defeat him. Where was that? Holy crap! That was deep back in there. Holy! I can't believe I pulled that. Right, everyone? Volfe Karko? He's not on the list. He should be. He's great. But yeah, Ayla Secura. Do you got anything about Ayla Secura? She's really cool.
Yeah, she is. It is definitely heart-wrenching when she just
Oh yeah, when she's like walking ahead of her group and she's like, "Well, everyone stop!" And she doesn't she not even have her lightsaber out? She just gets murked.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm remembering like she just kind of looks around and then it's just like she falls to the ground.
Why am I surrounded? Oh crap!
Yeah, it's
All right.
so sad.
We got one more Clone War Jedi, and then we're gonna go back back to Legends, and then we're gonna do a couple more Clone Wars Jedis. So, man, thanks to what is it called, Jedi Stories that came out like last year, 2 years
Tales
ago.
of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi. Thanks to Tales of the Jedi, this character got a little bit more play, and that's really good. We got Yaddle.
Ah, that's who I hoped it was.
Yeah, Yaddle. Yeah, hey, I put Yaddle above even Peel and Yarl Poof, so you're welcome. I didn't want to, but it happened.
That was a good
Yaddle.
episode, though.
It was really good. I love seeing like younger, not quite Sithified Count Dooku, but like, and also we got to finally see her use her lightsaber. So, in Legends, she has a full on like 200 years ago. Her and her Jedi Master are stuck on a planet, and she survives just with a staff. And it's a really cool comic, like back in the day. Like she just uses a staff and just beats her way through like a whole army. It's like super cool. So in Legends and in canon, that's kind of the theme that you're gonna get now with Clone War era Jedi is gonna be, did they make a splash for me in canon and Legends? Because so far it was like just Legends or just canon. Well, and CEC Tim, but he's never really made a splash for me at all, really. But Yaddle kind of double splashed a little bit, and so did Ayla Secura. So
yeah.
Anything you want to say about Yaddle before me?
Do you think that Grogu?
I mean, where else did he come from, really? And if you were the only one you know of your species, and then a younger, more hotter one of your species also joins the council, you're not going to get drunk and hang out one night? Come on. It's me or no one. Or sorry, it's no one or me, or whatever Yoda had to say to her. Like, come on. They had to have fooled around once. Like, come on, man. I love that. Like, even if you're, it's me or no one, huh? All right. All right.
I just had to.
Yeah, Grogu's not on the list because I do not consider him a Jedi because he did choose the Mandalorian life over the Jedi life.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he is not on this list.
No, that's...
Because I don't consider him a Jedi. If it just characters, he would be on this list, but he's not a Jedi. I guess I do call it Force users, so maybe he should be on this. Oops. All right. Grogu, I wish he was. Honorable mention. All right, let's go back to Legacy era of Legends, because we had Shadow Vayao, who hung out with Cade Skywalker. Now we have the other older Jedi who hangs out and is like ride or die with Cade. We have Wolf Sazin.
Oh.
So Wolf Sazin is a Zabrak with like very prominent like horns here, which I really like.
Yeah.
Any Jedi, Zabrak Jedi, I dig, but so he loses his hand from, I want to say, Darth Nihil, and never replaces it because it's his like folly. It's his penance for screwing up. So he just rocks one-handed. And it's really cool to see a Star Wars character go, oh, I'm not doing this just for an excuse to have a fake hand. I'm just gonna not have a hand. And he's a really cool one-handed Jedi who doesn't rock synthetics. He just, all right, fine, I'm going one-handed. And Wolf Sazin's really cool character. So I know, now I have to kick my cat out. I thought I was getting away with keeping the door open, but he's playing with wires. So
no.
Can you talk about my next person so I can remove my cat? Because we have another Clone Wars Jedi who absolutely made a splash in Legends and canon, because we have Depa Billaba.
Oh,
Give me a second if you got some Depa Billaba stuff.
Yeah, so Depa Billaba was Kanan's master, and she got killed right before his eyes.
Yeah. Are you talking about
And that
Kanan?
was,
Or Caleb Dune, as he was
Caleb
called.
Doom at the time, yeah.
Yep.
And that scarred him pretty good.
Yeah, so Depa almost ties into her Legends counterpart because at the beginning of the Clone Wars, she is Mace Windu's apprentice, and she has this whole turning dark side thing in Legends, and she gets put into a coma at the end of that book, and she's coming out of a coma for Kanan's comics, so you could almost say that they're connected. But she does this whole kind of trying to use Vapad in kind of the forbidden lightsaber form and kind of falling to the dark side a little bit with that. And she's also kind of gets influence from Mace Windu's homeworld. There's like a whole book of her kind of losing her stuff. And Mace kind of has this, I wouldn't go so far to say love affair because I wouldn't call it romantic love, but this like very mentor-mentee love that he has with Depa Billaba. So when she kind of like turns to the dark side, it like really crushes Mace. And it's one of those rare instances where Mace Windu gets any type of characterization. And he's on the list. Don't worry. Just not in the top that you guys think he would be. I don't love Mace. He's high on the list. He's super high on the list. Calm down. But because I know if I put him anything under where I put him, people would write. So are we even? Yeah, we're 56. Holy crap, we gotta go. But yeah, so Depa Billaba is really cool because not only, like I was saying, a splash in both Legends and canon, but a pretty decent one in both. So really cool character. All right, Ki-Adi-Mundi, 55. I mean, what's there not to say about Ki-Adi? A really awesome Jedi from that era. Again, I wouldn't say he like made a. He's not uber important, but he's kind of like just such a solid rock, a really interesting character from that era. I got nothing else. He's really great.
He is the one that says, "What about the the attack on the Wookiees?" Was that?
Oh yeah,
him?
that's him. Yeah. He has that line about the attack on the Wookiees.
Like line that everyone loves for some reason.
That got memed up. That got memed up really hard. I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot about that. What about the attack on the Wookiees or something? Yeah. No, that was the Revenge of the Sith line that got super memed. But combat wise, like, isn't there that scene in the Clone Wars when like everyone's counting how many battle droids they killed and like Obi-Wan, like Anakin's like, Obi, what do you got? And he's like, 20 something. And then Anakin's like, ha, I won. It's like 29 I got. And then Ki-Adi's like 68. Like he's just like, oh, did I accidentally triple your numbers? Like, it's something like that. I don't have the numbers right, and then at the end he's like, holy crap. It's like, yeah, dude, you think you're messing with Ki-Adi freaking Mundi. Oh man. All right, I was going to make another joke, but I'm going to move right on because we have so many more to cover. Darth Nihil. Is this I think this is the first Sith of this era. So this is a legacy era with Wolf Sazon and Shadow Veo, but we're covering some of the Sith finally. There is so many interesting Sith from that era that if I wanted to include all of them I wanted to, it would be like half the list. So I want people to know that I don't have a bunch, but it's just because there was too many. And I really love Legacy Era, which you're gonna see if you keep following the list. But Darth Nihil. He was not born inside the Sith, which makes him really interesting. So the one Sith era, like it's very culty, it's very different. And a lot of the ancient Sith lords kind of hate Darth Krayt. Like when he brings in their ghosts, they kind of are like, dude, you don't get it. You're not you're not rule of twoing, and you're definitely not even like trying to do that. Like you're bastardizing the Sith, and that's how Crate feels. Because he's kind of like a cult leader, but it's him in charge, and then everybody else, it's the one Sith because they're all like parts of him, right? So that's how Darth Crate does it. Darth Nihil was from the planet, I want to say, of Nagi, and he was a warlord on that planet, and he didn't grow up with them, and then he ends up being so powerful that instead of conquering him, like Crate brings him in and even makes him like his number like 2 or 3, like he's one of his hands. So he gets so much hatred because everybody else, like Darth Talon, Darth Warlock the Third, they're all grown up in the one Sith Order, and Darth Nihil is just a badass, and that's it. And he didn't earn his stripes, right?
Right.
And that's what I love about him. Also, he's got this very unconventional, super long lightsaber staff, but it's not double bladed; it's just single bladed. And he doesn't follow any of the lightsaber forms. He does his own thing, and he's just like very punk rock. Like Darth Nihil is like the punk rock Sith.
I love it.
Yeah, and he's super powerful. Like, yeah, don't think, oh, he's just a punk, like he's weak. No. Darth Nihil can hang. I'd put him up there with the most powerful Sith of any era, honestly. All right. So did you think that I still had Barasafi on this list? Because here we go. 53, we got Barasafi. Yeah.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
No, go ahead too. You go ahead more.
So, she was involved with the bombing of the Jedi Temple that Ahsoka got accused of. And that's pretty awful.
Granted. I agree.
Because Barasafi got so disillusioned with everything that was going on with the Jedi and them becoming these warriors rather than like being Jedi, and she started along this crazy plan with micro bots or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I think she has a thing that came out on Disney Plus today.
Yes, and I have not watched it. I haven't watched it
either. Yeah, no,
but I'm really excited about it.
I'm sure if that came out 2 weeks ago, she would probably be lower because I've always wanted to know what happened to Barasafi.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. Full disclosure, it literally came out the day that we're filming this.
Yes.
And I've already talked about the day I've had. I was in dad mode. I got all this list done today. And then I went and I had some margaritas. So sorry, Barasafi. All right. We talked about Lord Vindican forever ago, right? Lordy Vindy. The guy who stabbed him while he was fighting against Darth Malgus is also on this list. And Satil Shan also on this list. This is the guy who is Satil Shan's Jedi Master who ends up stabbing Lordy Vindy. And he's one of the coolest characters of all time because it's something that he does. When he's like, run, Satil, you need to get to the Jedi Order. And it's just him and 2 other Sith. And she's like, what? He's like, I got this fight. And it's like, you're watching it and you go, no, you don't. You're like 2 powerful Sith. And as she's jumping onto the ship, she throws her double-bladed lightsaber. And that's when he rocks a double-bladed in one hand and a single in the other hand. And it's one of the best lightsaber fights of all time.
Oh, wow.
And that's Chaos and Direct. So, Zabrak Jedi. He's kind of like this dude who's during the era where even though the war's about to break out, nobody knows that. But he's still asked to be stationed at Korriban. So he's on a battle station that's floating above Korriban when all these starships just appear out of hyperspace. All the Sith show up around the planet, and then a couple of them come into the battle station to fight him, and that's Darth Malgus and Lord Vindican. But he's only in that one thing, and I'm sorry, but he earns 52. Like, he's the coolest Watch that if you haven't watched it. So like he's so cool. She's like KO and throws a double-bladed lightsaber and he lights it in the air and then fights with 3 blades and he fights them both off and takes out one of them. And then he ends up losing for Darth Malgus because he's a beast. And yes, he's on this list later on. But yeah, so out of those 4 characters, he's the second of the Return trailer. But he's one of the 2 that don't make it off of that trailer. He didn't make it onto the rest of the game. So. Yeah, I don't know how long it's been, but yeah, Chaos Interact, love them.
I need to watch that trailer again.
Dude, I used to watch it like every month. Just get hyped. It's so good. It came out when I was in like college. It's like from like 2009. It's just so freaking good. All right, another Clone Wars Jedi. I know we're starting to run low on them. I know I'm using them early. I'm sorry, but this is one who died canonically 4 times. I think, right? Because we got Shaak Ti.
Oh.
She has like 2 deleted scenes where she dies differently in Revenge of the Sith. And then they didn't end up using any of them. And then you kill her in Force Unleashed. So,
oh, wow.
yeah, Shaak Ti. Gotta love Shaak Ti.
Goodness.
Yeah.
And she's one of the trainers for the clones.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot about that. That's super cool. Yeah, she's one of the trainers for the clones on the Clone Wars. She's also Togurtan, like Ahsoka, who isn't on this list. I hate Ahsoka. She's definitely not super high on this list. Oh my god! All right, yeah, Shaak Ti, she's great. A really powerful Jedi, really great swordswoman, sword person, and yeah, trainer of the clones, and yeah, that's all I got. Shaak Ti. God, I had things I want to say about these characters, but I'm trying not to now because I want to like move on. So like, I feel bad about not covering them more, but we have so much. We're not even halfway. What was that? 51? We're now halfway. We're an hour and 40 minutes in. All right. Number 50, Nomi Sunrider. Okay, so if you're not in the know, you're like, who? But if you're in the know, you're like, Nomi Sunrider's only 50. Yeah, I know. Honestly, Nomi Sunrider almost didn't make the list because I forgot about her. And I had to like jumble people like, oh crap, Nomi's got to be on here because she so deserves it. So she's love interest of Ulic Qel-Droma. I believe Ulic is her baby mama, but she's, if you're talking about the 3 or 4 most important characters of that specific Jedi Wars, she's one of the 3 or 4 most important, right with Exar Kun, who is the main Sith of that era, Ulic Qel-Droma, who's the another fallen Jedi, just like Exar Kun, who becomes his apprentice. And then there's Kay Qel-Droma, who's Ulic's brother. I dropped my mouse. I have a mouse now. Did you know that? It's crazy. And then Naomi Sunrider, who also fights. She's extremely powerful. And also, I don't know if you know about this, but like 90s and 2000s Legends has a thing about really hot redheads. It's just it's a Star Wars Legends thing of just like really hot redheads. It's like
I love it.
We'll get back to them later. Trust me. But yeah, Nomi Sunrider. I can't believe I almost didn't have her on. She's great. You ever hear of Nomi before now? Yeah, it's great.
No.
Yeah. It's you gotta love those last names in Star Wars that like Sunrider, Skywalker, Bright Star, the like 2 words, the Star Killer, right? Like yeah, you gotta use them every once in a while. All right, that was a Nomi at 50. So we're finally on the second half of this list. Holy shamola.
Woo!
All right, one more Clone Wars Jedi. Actually, 2. Holy crap. There's a lot more on here than I thought. I thought people were going to get mad, but I do have a lot on here. Because we got 51, Quinlan Vos.
Oh.
Come on. Talk about a splash in Legends and canon.
Yeah.
Like, two completely different characters too. Legends, he is way more powerful. He has like a complete different arc where he infiltrates, joins Count Dooku, like kind of falls to the dark side in order to assassinate Count Dooku, and then survives. And then he has a completely different but similar thing with in the book, what's the name of the book where he the canon book where he
Dark Disciple,
where he almost does the same thing but with a more like more light side Asajj Ventress, right? Like yeah, that's a really cool book. I never read it. I just know a lot about it, but I remember when it first came out because I was like, oh, they're doing Quinlan Vos, and then I talked to somebody who read it and I was like, oh, is it like the comic? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh
no,
maybe I shouldn't. They're like, dude, they kind of nerfed the crap out of Quinlan. I'm like, because he's just way more powerful in Legends. He's easily one of the best lightsaber practitioners in the Jedi Order of Legends, and he also comes really like dangerously close to getting good at Vaapad and Juyo, like the forbidden lightsaber form. Like, but I'm not taking away Dark Disciple. If you like Dark Disciple, I'm not taking that away. But,
I find it interesting that a lot of people swear by that book. They absolutely love that book.
The canon folk do.
Yeah, and well, yeah. And my take on it, I enjoyed it, but I knew that Count Dooku wasn't going to die.
Yeah,
and
weird. Yeah.
I knew that Quinlan Vos wasn't going to end up being Count Dooku's apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like,
what's the suspense? Yeah.
I just and I know that coming from a prequel person who is all about the foreshadowing, but like there was nothing to foreshadow. So it was like I just didn't quite understand. But I look forward to continuing to watch Bad Batch. I am way behind. I hate that is my reality right now.
Is Quinlan in that?
No, Asajj.
Oh, Asajj is nice.
So I
we could talk about Asajj.
All that, like, went from the book to Bad Batch.
Well, Asajj isn't on this list. All right, but you know who is? We got 48. Sora Bulk is on this list. So Sora Bulk helped Mace Windu come up with Form 7's variation Vaapad. He is like the lightsaber combatant with Mace. He's one of the best lightsaber combatants of this era. Another Clone Wars Jedi. Rocks a lightsaber and then a Shoto. He dual wields.
Nice.
He does kind of become just a beast towards his end. Like the dark side almost kind of turns him feral. But he does have a couple really big kills like Oberyn Sissus and some other people. So that's actually really sweet. But yeah, when it comes to that era of comic books, he was kind of really pushed as a really hardcore bad guy and really powerful. Like if you want to have the discussions of best just pure lightsaber combatants, he's in that discussion in the top 10. Like not force users, but like lightsaber combatants, he's up there, close to S tier, if not S tier. So yeah. So Sora Bulk's a really cool character, and in seeing the dark side almost turn you into a beast is really interesting. Like if you're just like a combatant for the light side, if you fall to the dark, you become a combatant for the dark, which just turns you into a monster.
Yeah.
Like oof. Yeah. I believe he has a really good fight with Quinlan Vos, actually, in Quinlan Vos's storyline. So I got it. You got anything for Sora Bulk? I don't think he ever really made it into Legends or canon too much. Like he's a canon character because you see him in Attack of the Clones, but I don't think he really has had that presence like other characters from that era have like kind of split into both.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Sora really did that. No.
Not really. I mean, was there, but...
Yeah, but he's not like Dipabalaba or
right.
Like Kid Fisto, which also is not on this list. Shut up. All right, he's high on this. Come on. All right, we were talking about, finally getting a little bit into that era with Nomi Sunrider, so now we're going to talk about the battle master, the weapons master of that era, who trained Exar Kun. We have the Squid Man with the staff that can block lightsabers. We have Vodo C.S. Bosk. I love Vodo Bosk. He is like Mr. Krabs, but he's like Squidward. Like he's literally a walking octopus man with a imbued staff. And he has 2 really epic fights with Exar Kun, and then ends up losing against his former apprentice, which is really sad. And Vodo C.S. Bosk is very much like the other Yoda of his era. Like he is the master of the Jedi, like of that time. And yeah, I love Vodo C.S. Bosk. I also love his design of like, let's make him super alien.
I was about to say, I really like his design.
Yeah. Vodo C.S. Bosk is great. He has 2 really, really, really cool fights with Exar Kun. Like one, like right before Exar is about to fall to the dark side. And Exar Kun is doing all the stuff that Vodo trained him, and then he whips out a second lightsaber and ends up overpowering him. And then when they fight again, Vodo C.S. Bosk is ready for it, and then we'll talk about Exar Kun later, you know that. But when he whips out the second blade of his new design double-bladed lightsaber, he completely overpowers Siask, and he's like, okay, whoa, and then ends up killing Siask Bosk. And it's a really epic moment of those old comics. All right. So another character from about 100 years before that era, because you had a Sith who found, oh my God, I'm not going to get this wrong, found Frida Nad's tomb and then turned to the dark side and then decided to go and take over Onderon as the dark evil Sith. Did I say Frida Nad? Who am I talking about? This is Frida Nad. So Naga Sadow's Frida Nad, fallen Jedi from Ossus about 100 years before this. He has this really amazing moment with his Jedi master who tempts him because he's just succeeding over everybody else, right? He's just a way better Jedi than anybody else, but she senses his arrogance. So she challenges him, but like feigns that it's like, I'm better than you. You're not better than anybody. I'm going to fight you to the death to tempt him. And it's a test because the Jedi is going to go, no. But he goes, okay. And then he goes the swing and she shuts her lightsaber off and takes the wound and dies.
Oh my gosh.
And right as she's dying, she gives him that like, you failed look. And then he goes, oops. And then he goes full Sith.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah, but it's like this hardcore of like, I'm going to test him. And it's like, fight me. In to pass that test, you go, no. But he goes, okay. And then she just takes it. And he's like, oops. And she's like, yeah. Oh. And he then goes to Yavin 4, goes to where Naga Sadow's tomb is, gets all this dark side power, and then goes and takes over Onderon as like rules as this Sith overlord for like hundreds of years, like bring his body or bring his mind down into the kings and rules over Onderon. And that's when Exar Kun, Ula Keldroma, not Exar Kun, but Ula Keldroma, K Keldroma, and Arca Jeth, I believe, their master is fighting in that war. And also fighting in that war on Onderon is Warb Null, who we covered earlier. So that's who Frida Nad is. So he never really got that full reign. He kind of just like really powerful Jedi, falls to the dark side and takes over a planet and holds it. But before we move on, he rocks a short-bladed lightsaber with a bronze blade. How badass.
Wow.
That's one of the coolest lightsabers ever. I want you to know that.
That's pretty cool.
Because he rocks a Shoto. Yeah, that armor is nuts. But yeah, he rocks a Shoto, but not for anything besides his main weapon. It's like, oh, all right. That's badass. All right. I'm going to make you happy. maybe I'm gonna make you unhappy because he's this high. 45, we got Kylo Ren. Are you happy or unhappy?
I mean, I do love Kylo Ren. I think that when people don't understand how he fell to the dark side, I have this whole spiel, and I won't.
I did read that comic too. Like, I read his comic, which kind of puts a new light on that whole scene and everything.
Yeah, and so, but the biggest thing I think of why he was coerced into the dark side is because his parents were basically like, you're gonna be this, and we expect this of you. And he's like, why can't I just be me? And they were famous, right? And so he's living in this shadow of these people that expect this certain thing of him, and he doesn't want any part of that. And so, I mean, his mind, like, I could see how he was dealing with some serious depression, like depressive thoughts, and dealing with a lot of feeling like maybe he wasn't living up to those expectations, and that's hard.
Well, and also not only his parents, but his uncle is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he had a lot on his shoulders, and he didn't feel like he was able to meet those expectations. And then I get that, like, feeling like your parents feeling like everyone says, well, Leia wanted the best for him, and all this stuff. Well, your parents can want the best for you, but that doesn't always mean it is the best for you.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
So that's my Kylo Ren spiel. Like,
I have that, like, I already knew who Darth Caedus was first, so it's like
I did too.
Him being a Legends, like, hey, let's kind of do Caedus, but it's like, either do Caedus or don't do Caedus. Like, and guess what? Way higher on this list. But I think that he falls victim to being in movies I don't like. Yeah. And he falls victim to being in inconsistent movies. And I know that me and you have extremely different points of view on the movies, but and that's not what I'm here to talk about at all. But I feel like if they kind of decided what they were going to do with him and kind of stuck to it, I would like him a little more. But 45, look at all the heavy hitters that he beat. Like, I think 45 is actually pretty decent for me, of being somebody who doesn't really love those movies. I think I have him pretty fair. I try to be very fair with it because I do understand everything you said, and I also read his comic, and I like a lot of what he stands for. I just think he's very unfortunate that he falls victim to crappy writing, and that has nothing to do with him. So I feel like I had to find that spot. If I left him too high, it would anger you, and if I put him too low on the list, closer to 1 is what I mean by low. Well, any actual hardcore Legends people who watch are like, well, you're going to talk about Warp Null and pretend you know anything about Legends, but you put Kylo Ren in the 20s? It's like, all right. So I figured 45's, it was almost a political move.
You say as you have your Kylo Ren lightsaber behind you.
Hey, man. I bought it on Star Wars Day of 2016. It's very important. It's very important to me. That was a very big day, a day I remember very well.
Yeah. And there's one more thing that I wanted to mention about him. And I am so the attack on Luke's Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
My interpretation of that, because it's in the comics, my interpretation of that is that he did it accidentally.
He doesn't remember it.
Like, I don't think people say, like, oh, it shows he did that. No, he did not do that on purpose.
No, he kind of like wakes up with it on fire in the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think really that was, I seriously think that was an accidental, like, his just powerfulness just went like boom, but he didn't mean to do that.
No, he's a very interesting character. I wish they would have handled him a little better. I also really dislike the Rise of Skywalker a lot, but yeah, so that's kind of an issue. But all right, now for something completely different. We're going back to our final old school Sith. So we covered Ludo Kresh and Naga Sadao fighting over control of the Sith after Marco Regnos died. So now we got Marco Regnos, who is considered one of the most powerful Sith of all time. He really kind of brought the Empire to a golden age, and it was everybody fighting over his empire, which kind of led to not only a schism, but the Great Hyperspace War. So Marco Regnos is actually considered one of the best and most influential and powerful Sith leaders of all time. So, and I love him. I love that ancient Sith look, man.
Yeah,
Gotta love it. You gotta love that they don't have lightsabers. They have the like magical swords full of blood sacrifice and all their artifacts, and it's so much more sorcery. You know, like it's kind of awesome. But yeah, that's my Marco Ragnos was number. Where are we at? 44.
Nice.
Ready for a Clone Wars character?
Sure.
And ready for everybody who's like, really, you have this guy higher than Marco Ragnos? Yeah, I do, because I love Savage Opress.
Oh, nice.
Come on, man. I love Savage. Talk about beat stick, like 100%. He headbutts Anagallia to death. Are you kidding me? He's one of the coolest. He's like, screw lightsabers. I got a weapon on my skull. Just the gigantic lightsaber, and he's just like this huge roided out beast who's somehow more powerful. Like, he's this perfect example of he's extremely powerful, but it's all a sledgehammer. Like, he doesn't have any nuance. Same with Kylo. Kylo's that way too. He's extremely powerful, but he's not, you know, he doesn't have any subtlety to his power. And same with Savage Opress of like, if he tried to force push you, he's force pushing the house. Like, like, you know, he doesn't have fine manipulation. You know, if somebody's like, oh, try Jedi mind trick, he's like, I just cut in half. You know, like that's Savage. And all of his story arcs tied with Darth Maul, who like this is later on the list, I'm sure you know, is just like super cool, and I love all of his TCW stuff. So, you got anything about Kylo before we move?
His name, Savage Opress.
Savage Opress.
Like, his name is
so
just
evil.
So perfect.
What's your name? Jedified Destroyer. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's just it encompasses what he is.
Yeah, dude.
But I love how he's so about his brother.
Yeah, he's almost naive too, and almost childish in this cool way of like their brother love and survival. Like, it almost comes, they're both monsters, but it almost comes off like Rugrats. Like friends, you know? Like little kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. Go back to KOTOR, not even KOTOR, just SWOTOR. Just not Knights of the Old Republic, but the Old Republic MMO. We had those 4 characters. We've covered 2 of them from that trailer. Now we got Satele Shan, who was the super hot lady boss with the double-bladed blue lightsaber, who is the Yoda of her era. That's right. She is the Grand Master of her era. God, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love this hardened general with this amazing weapon who is the Grand Master of her era. Like, I love Satele Shan. Yeah, like 100%. So
she seems she's very she is a little sexy.
You can say it, you know. She absolutely is. And yeah, so in the Returns trailer, but then there's also the one where she fights Mulgus later on in the war on Alderaan, which is a really cool trailer too, where that's where this is from, and she just goes all out, and that's when she uses like her force. I'm gonna get the word wrong, but it's like blocking force energy. It's like what Vader does when Han shoots the beam at him and he stops. I'm forgetting the name of it, the Star Wars word for it, but she does that to Mulgus's lightsaber. She holds the beam back and then she force pushes him and then takes all this force energy, almost like a Kamehameha, like an energy blast, like a solid kinetic ball, and then throws it at him and then beds him into a mountain and then leaves.
Oh my gosh.
It's so cool. Oh, I love Satele Shan. All right. Nice. Well, I couldn't have them too separated, so we had Kylo a couple ago, and here you go. I'm sorry, but we have Rey.
Yeah.
41. I couldn't keep them too far apart. I felt bad.
Yeah. Well, you know my whole thing, how I started out and I thought Rey was overpowered and random, and I just didn't get the hype. And then freaking Palpatine's granddaughter, and it's like, what? Like,
yeah,
she chose to be good. She chose to go against her blood. She chose her family, and of course she chose the last name Skywalker. Like, what other name is she gonna choose? Like,
Solo.
She wanted a last name. That was the whole point, is she wanted a last name from the very first movie. Like,
yeah.
And yes, they're like, why couldn't you just stay Rey? She didn't want to just stay Rey.
Yeah, she never wanted to be just Rey. Yeah.
Because when Nabi Gima, the Pasanan, goes up to her and is like, you know, I would be honored to know your family name as well. And she's like, oh, it's just Rey. Like, that hurt her to not be able to say that she had a last name. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I didn't give her one here, so I'm a dick now. I really wish that they kind of stuck with everything that Rian Johnson did in Last Jedi, and that's one problem I kind of had. I like the idea of her not being Palpatine's kid, and I kind of like the idea of her being just somebody's kid. But they didn't go that route. I don't get super mad about the quote Mary Sue crap. Like, that doesn't bother me. I feel like a lot of main characters are overpowered. I was waiting for them to kind of explain it a little more, but again, just like my issues with Kylo is her being victim of being in movies I don't consider her very good. It's some of the worst writing in the entire franchise, including Legends, in my eyes. So it's hard for me to put her lower. But also, how important is she to an entire generation of females? And not only that, but an entire generation of Star Wars fans. Like, people love Rey, and I'm not going to take it away. I think that that eventually my daughter's going to like Rey the way that I like original characters. So
yeah,
where am I? You know, who am I? Who am I to say that?
And let me just make sure
I don't think she's a bad part of it. I think that she's a victim of it. I don't think that she ruined the movies or anything like that.
I just want to put this out there for those who may be watching, that Rise of Skywalker is probably Rogue One and Rise of Skywalker are tied for me. So
I let you air your own dirty laundry. I don't put that out there without you.
I just wanted to make that clear.
I know your relationship with Rise of Skywalker, but also me and you have always found a lot of mutual respect in the fact that we don't look at this franchise the same way, and that's why we work so well together. Yeah, is that I go, that was garbage, and you're like, I love it, and then we just gotta move on. And then I'm like, shut up. Can I tell you about a random bad guy from Dark Forces? What I'm here for. Now we're going to talk about another video game protagonist, running out of them. And we covered his clone, and now we're going to talk about Galen Merrick, who is the first Force Unleashed good guy. He's the hidden apprentice and ends up becoming really cool, but really, really awesome character in the video games. And I love Galen Merrick. I wish we had more time, but I knew that Rey was going to suck up more time, so I kind of want to start moving. But Force Unleashed Part 1, Galen Merrick. That game was just so cool the first time anyone played it. Like, holy crap. And that's all about how powerful and also nuance of him being trained as a Jedi killer. And he starts to kind of turn like, wait a second, why am I murdering these Jedi? Yeah, Galen Merrick's awesome. So now we have one of the most important Sith of all time. Yeah, died in his sleep. You know why? Because he had a horrible apprentice. That's right. I'm going to now tell you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Oh!
Yeah, Darth Plagueis.
Yes!
Yeah, 39. Good old Moon. God, I love that he's a Moon. That's why a lot of people thought when everyone first saw the pictures of Snoke before the movie came out, I was like, so it's Plagueis? Because it almost looked like a moon. I was like, no way, they're making Plagueis? No, they didn't. They didn't go that way. I wish they did. I thought Plagueis just survived his sleep. He's like, you thought you could kill me in my sleep? I'm going to wait 100 years. Leave me alone. But no, they didn't go that route. But yeah, Darth Plagueis, of course, kind of everything that Sidious ends up doing was all laid. It's the best laid plans of Mice and Plagueis, right? And he pretty much like Sidious just happens to be the extremely powerful apprentice of the greatest 40 chess player of all time. And then right during like the middle of Phantom Menace, when it's like, oh, all the chips are falling, I'm gonna kill you. Dang it. And then Plagueis doesn't get to do any of it, and Sidious moves on. Way to pick the worst apprentice of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Sidious definitely isn't on this list. All right. But yeah, that's what I got for Plagueis. Have you ever seen you know what Plagueis looked like before now? Have you ever read any of those books?
I did. I mean I've seen like the cover of the book.
Mm-hmm. There's like 3 books for Plagueis, or maybe more. Because I read Tenebrous Way and I read a couple other ones, but yeah. I love me some Plagueis. That's why he's made it this far. I wish that he had a bigger impact on the fandom, and that's probably why he stays here. And also, I wish we saw more of him. Like, the books are him being very political and a schemer, but we don't get to see any really cool lightsaber fights to really cool music with him, you know? And if you want to get in that top 10, you got to at least have one Duel of Fate. If you don't have a Duel of Fate, you're staying out here in the 30s. Or 39? Yeah, that's all you get. That's how far you can make it without a Duel of Fate.
Mm.
Yep. In case you were wondering.
I would like to know more about that whole. I know E.K. Johnston has talked about wanting to do a young adult Palpatine novel. And
there was a bunch when we were young adults that came out back before they were canon. Yeah, that's all those 3 were young adult Palpatine novels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would love that to be something in the canon. That would be amazing.
All right. Going back to kind of a Clone Wars Jedi, but is he lived for 300 years. He started off as a Jedi in the Clone Wars, but you don't really see him around too much. But he made it all the way to the Legacy comics, and he actually became a Jedi Grandmaster, because when you're around for 300 years and the only one left, you start to get promotions. He's a giant. Oh my God, am I going to get the Whippet? Whippet? Is that the species? Giant furry tusked Jedi who sometimes wears a Raiden from Star Wars hat. You have Kruk.
Oh, nice.
Kruk is easily one of my favorite characters. Like, I love Kruk, and he's so Legends. Like, he doesn't really hang out like he's from the time of canon, but you don't see him in anything like canon wise. But he's just this big giant beast that like keeps the flame of the Jedi Order alive. And then like 200 years after the collapse, he's still running his own little Jedi Order that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, all the way through Darth Krayt. Like, God, I love Kruk. And also an awesome name. Kruk. Great. And he rocks a Raiden hat. Yeah. Big old hat.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all I got. Have I just talked to you about Crook before? Are you familiar at all? Because he is super legends.
I recognize the name,
Okay.
but I don't know if I recognized the whole package.
But yeah, so he's around during the Clone Wars, and he makes it all the way to Darth Krayt's Empire, and he's running the Jedi around that time with Wolf Sazin and Shadow Veo, and also like the other Skywalkers before it's just down to Cade. But yeah. Oh, all right. We're in the heavy hitters now. We're in the 30. Like, it's gonna be nothing but like holy craps from here on out. So we covered way back. The second guy we ever covered was Khan, Lord Khan. Now we have Darth Bane, who killed all of them. His apprentice. So not Bane, but Bane's apprentice with Darth Zana. Zana Mama. I love me Darth Zana. I would let her step all over me. I don't care. She can wear stilettos and just walk over my back all she wants. I don't give a crap. She rocks a double-bladed lightsaber. She actually rocks the same lightsaber form as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Form 3 Surisu. So she fights a double-bladed lightsaber with smaller blades because she has a smaller frame. So she has like a double Shoto, essentially. And she plays nothing but defense, so she can hold you off until she can use her overwhelming force to just destroy you. So she is really powerful and ends up like defeating Darth Bane to become the master, not the apprentice. So yeah, Darth Zana. Nice. I love Darth Zana.
I like her.
Oh yeah,
the diamonds.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's a I don't know what else I gotta say about her that I didn't just say. I feel like I just nailed it, but yeah, so she's great, and she's also the heiress of Darth Bane's rule of 2, and then she gets Darth Cognis, I believe, as her next one, and yeah, so the rule of 2 Sith for like 200 years, hot chicks. I don't know if you knew that, but it was hot girls for a while. Like Bane goes to Zana, who goes to another chick, who I believe goes to another chick. So there's a little while there where the rule of 2 is just really hot ladies. Just being hot ladies.
Nice.
But, all right. Sorry, I keep using characters you've never heard of. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Ezra Bridger?
Yes. And I would say he might have one of the absolute coolest lightsabers ever.
Oh, yeah. Lightsaber
because it's a blaster and a lightsaber.
Yeah, his first lightsaber is super cool. I love the blaster lightsaber. It's so purge, right? It embodies the type of, or the era of Jedi that he was brought up, of this hiding and having to be a hybrid of a Jedi and a rebel at the same time. Like, he's going from the old ways because the old ways are dead, and that's really cool. I really didn't like what they did with Ezra in Ahsoka Tano's video or TV show. I wish I did. I was really excited when I knew he was coming in, but I was very underwhelmed. And there's a moment there where he's like, I don't need a lightsaber, I got the Force, and then he does like one little tiny Force push. I was like, no man, I want him to like tear everybody apart and like do some crazy Force stuff. It's Ezra Bridger. Like, no, pick up that tank and throw it at everybody. But he's like, ooh, now let's run. And I was like, oh, come on. Do some Ezra Bridger stuff. I mean, he once controlled an entire school of space whales. What are we doing here? One of the coolest finales of any show ever. And yeah.
That would have been nice to have a little more of the communing with creatures in the Ahsoka.
He's like all about that in Rebels. Like,
yeah.
That's like always was his, like, I feel like a lot of Jedi have like they you can have all the powers a little bit, but you have the one that you're huge at. And he was always that beast control, that animal communication.
Yeah, that would have been cool to bring that out a bit more.
Are you surprised that I have him before Kanan? Or did you think I would have Kanan first?
I don't know. They're both really great, but in very different ways. And they both have really incredible story arcs also.
Yeah. I think I would have had Ezra lower. Like, I think I would have had Kanan first if it wasn't for the Ahsoka franchise or TV show. I'm sorry, I just left a really bad taste in my mouth of just like hashtag not my Ezra. Like, I don't know. Like, but it wasn't too far different because I got Kanan next.
Oh,
35
okay.
Kanan Jedi.
Nice.
Yeah, great character. I love the Cowboy Jedi, especially the Purge Jedi of him carrying his lightsaber in different pieces on his belt. Like, it like just shows his style of the type of Jedi he had to be. And I also like kind of seeing him form it from just a Padawan, and in that first season kind of like knight himself, you know? And that was really cool, and you kind of see that transformation, and then later him like bringing on Ezra and seeing how the old ways work sometimes, but also him trying to raise Ezra like a Jedi from the Old Republic isn't really working. Like, there's so much stuff, and then of course when he loses his eyesight and becomes like, you know, blind swordsman. He reminds me a lot of Ram Koda from Legends, which we already covered, but the old blind mentor samurai. That blind samurai trope is a really important trope because we go, samurai did it first, and then Western stole it from samurai movies, and then Star Wars stole it from Western movies, right? So Star Wars movies are very Western and are very samurai. So a lot of those tropes that make it in, like Kanan is literally a cowboy samurai Jedi. Like he feels like he belongs in the franchise so much. And I've always liked Kanan.
Yeah.
I've always loved him.
I like that. I don't know that I don't feel like I've ever heard anyone call him a cowboy Jedi, but I like that.
Oh, that was his pitch. I was watching all the behind the scenes trailers I could before the first episode came out, and he was pitched as the cowboy Jedi.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so I didn't make it up. Filoni gave it to me.
Gotcha.
Which I don't know why Filoni's talking about cowboys.
we
he always wears that 10-gallon hat, man.
I have this ongoing joke that Dave Filoni looks like the guy behind the deli that sells fake IDs.
That's true. He also looks a lot like Robert Rodriguez, like, because they both wear cowboy hats too. Like, and Rodriguez does a lot of like Mando episodes and stuff, so it's like you guys just hang out and be like, remember how good the music from the 90s was? Like, that's how they do it. Remember when I made Dust Till Dawn? Yeah, it was so cool. All right, now going back to KOTOR. I'm sorry, we're almost running out. I know you're counting, like, so you said there was 3 from KOTOR 2. There was. We covered one of them. But can I put somebody who looks like this and who has the ability to just continue to die, but his anger keeps his body glued together? Anywhere on the list, we have Darth Sion. Oof. Look at this beast. Like,
dang.
He is a corpse. He is a corpse that is reanimated through rage. And you know how you take him down in the video game? You convince him to just let his own body die.
Oh, wow.
And to be like, man, just give up. And he's like, yeah, what am I doing this for?
Like, that is morbid.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love KOTOR too. I wish that game was better. I love the characters from it. The game's a little hard to play because they kind of messed it up and it was rushed. But anyways, Sion... There's one more of the Sith Triumvirate, and guess what? He actually made it really low down the list. But I love the god. He's called like the Lord of Pain. Like, he's like the Cenobite Sith. Like, he's all about pain and despair and death. Like, he's like so like, you know how many times I've died? Like, holy crap, he's so intense, man. Like, and you just can't take him out. because he can't die. So you fight him like 4 times in the video game. Just every time you do, you just get murked by him, and then you barely murk him, and then he's just like, just stands back up, and you're like, what? And I've always thought of his, because they call them scars in the Force. They're too powerful. They're like broken. They're like glitches, right? And him and the other one of the Sith Triumvirate, other than Kreia, are that. And I kind of look at his ability, and I this isn't established anywhere. It's my headcanon, but as like the dark side version of Force Ghosts. Like there are dark Force Ghosts. Like, don't get me wrong. Like there are Sith ghosts, but I thought of instead of like coming back as a spirit, in all my humanity is still alive, but my body died, but I can come back and just bring my knowledge. And it's like, no, my body lives, but my humanity dies, and I bring nothing but suffering and pain. Like, it's like that Sith version of like forever life. Oh, I'll never die because I'm going to be a Force Ghost. I'll never die because I'm going to be a beast monster.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's dark.
I know it's dark. That's why it's metal. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, Darth Sion. Have you ever seen him before?
I don't think so.
I love how people can just be the fans of Star Wars, and it's like, here's something I love, and you're like, what's this from? Like, and I know how hardcore you go, but you go hardcore in the canon. But
yeah.
But all right, one more KOTOR here, and then we're gonna take a video game break. But this is from KOTOR 1. So there's the rule of 2, right? So you had Revan, and who was Revan's apprentice? Darth Malak. And I love me Darth Malak. He got his jaw ripped off by his master, like his Sith master. Revan got in a fight with him, and he literally tore Malak's jaw off. Hardcore. And I love the head tattoos. He's also like rocks like Form 2 Makeshi, so he's got a lot of nuance, but he's also like, he took control of the Sith Empire by just like firing on his master's gunship, like blowing it up. So he like does it kind of like, like a rat, like snake way, like he doesn't challenge him. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna blow him up when he's not paying attention. Like, so he's almost kind of like a jerk, like slimy. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, but at the same time, he's extremely powerful. He's almost just as powerful as Revan, but Revan beat the original duel for him, and that's why he never got control. But yeah, so that's Darth Malak. He was the main bad guy in KOTOR 1. So yeah,
nice.
Want to talk about some more Skywalkers?
Oh,
I'm not sure how she actually made it this high up the list. I think I had her lower. She just kind of got moved, and I'm not really sure. I don't know if I missed something, but we got Jaina Solo. Jaina Solo fell.
Oh.
Amazing character. I don't know why I have her at 32 now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah, I love Jaina Solo. She's like the other side of the coin from Jason Solo, and yeah, ends up having to fight her brother. Like, this is everything that I wanted in Rey. And Kylo Ren is everything I wanted, or Jason is everything I wanted in Kylo Ren. But yeah, I love Jaina Solo 1,000,000% of the little bit of the books I've actually read and the research I did into her, which is just, she's just super cool. So,
yeah, I love that she has to fight her brother, and it's just so emotional that she has to do that. And I was just getting into those books and eating them up and loving them, and then they switched canon on us.
Yeah.
And I was like, but
that doesn't mean you can't keep doing them.
But no, I know. And actually I did want to say that you're making, because I own all the Jason and Jaina, like that line, the ones that alternate between the 3 authors.
Mm-hmm.
I have all of those, and then I have a bunch of the ones that come after that.
Yeah.
So is Legacy the one that comes?
Legacy is comic books.
Oh, okay.
Almost exclusively comic books.
Okay. I can't remember what they're called.
I think it's still them. I think it's still New Jedi Order because it goes on forever.
Yeah, I don't know. It has a different like branding on it.
Oh, then I don't know.
So I'm not sure. Right, but I own a lot of those. And so you're making me want to go back.
Well, do it.
And read them.
Do it. All right. I got some curveballs because we're in the, where are we now, in the 30s? We're just getting to 30, yeah, or so. I feel like I should have these two flipped. It feels weird to have this person right under Jaina. I think I should have them like beep, beep. But we have Darth Talon.
Oh,
31. So Darth creates extremely attractive, the hottest Star Wars character of all time, the female pure red Twi'lek who is born in the Sith Order. She is just a complete nasty / sexy assassin killer Sith. And God, I love Talon. Like I like that. Yeah, I like so much about Talon, but she's definitely, I feel like she earns where she's at. Maybe I should flip her and Jaina because Jaina's just got a little bit more actual meat to her. But like, I mean, storyline wise, but like Talon is, oh my God, she's almost iconic. Like she's probably one of the most known characters of just straight Legends because of how crazy her design is. Like just straight from her design, people are like, what? There's like a super hot, pure red Twi'lek Sith. Like, oh yeah, you didn't know that? She's great. She does have some film adaptations, but they're in a genre I probably shouldn't be talking about. Oh man, check them out though. But yeah,
not surprising.
No, not surprising, and really great, by the way. I highly suggest. All right. Anyways, but yeah, no, Darth Talon is great. So Darth Nihil creates one side of the hand. She's called the Emperor's Hand, and Nihil's called the Emperor's Fist, which I always thought was really cool. But she is like the other right-hand man. Essentially, there's like 3 or 4. I don't have Darth Weirlock III on here. I probably should have at one point. But I kind of figured for legacy characters, I've already had so many that I should just kind of narrow down just a couple of them. Because like 3 Sith and 4 Jedi is kind of a lot from that era. But yeah, no, I love Talon. I think maybe I should have switched her with Jaina, but I do absolutely love her. I wanted her in this area. But yeah. I'm going to keep moving. We're at 2.5 hours. Holy crap. Let's end this in 3. Let's try to end this in 3.
Let's do it. We can do it.
All right, moving on. More video game protagonists. I think we're running out almost, right? Because we got Cal Kestis.
Oh, nice.
I told you, we're getting into the serious ones.
Yeah.
Almost every one of these guys. So yeah, Cal, what do I have to say besides I need to go back and finish that second game? But I love Cal Kestis. I love BD1. I love everything that he represents of the of the Jedi in that era, of like the other Purge Jedi, him and Kanan, and then also you talk about one of the best performances ever. Like I love that actor who completely nails Cal Kestis, and yeah, both games are really good. I really need to go finish the second one. And everything from lightsaber style to his reliance in friendship with a droid that rides on his shoulder. Like he is just such the like survival Jedi that I love. But,
yeah. My best friend got me the BD1 Lego for Christmas.
So cute. So cute. I love BD1. You got anything before we move?
No, we can move.
Okay, so before there was Palpatine, there was a guy with many a name. I believe he went by Tenebrae at one point, and then he was like an emperor at another point. Later on, he keeps dying and coming back as Sith and humans and all this stuff. And that is Vitiate. Vitiate was the Lord of the Sith for 1,500 years. Pretty much all the way from what I was talking about earlier with like the 5,000 BBY, like Great Hyperspace War. This dude went somewhere in, I want to say Droman Kos, and then he ran a Sith Empire all the way through Exar Kun's time, all the way up through KOTOR and KOTOR 2, and then Revan had to go kill him like way later on. This dude lived on forever, and he's like kind of the main bad guy of all of BioWare's video games. So KOTOR, KOTOR 2, and then all of the MMO vitiates, like either the dude you have to go fight, or he's now died and came back as another guy who you have to go fight. Like he is literally in charge of the dark side for 1,500 freaking years. So
wow.
Yeah. So if I don't have vitiate, at least in the 20s, like, all right, I gotta like he's the Sith Lord. Like him and Palpatine are like the Sith Lords.
Yeah.
Now for a weird one. Clone era Jedi, but this is another Clone Wars era Jedi that never really made it over to canon. And you're going to love her if you didn't know anything about her. She's called as the Dark Woman a lot. And she actually, at the age of like 100 in a comic book, a Legends comic book, has a fight with Vader. And Vader finally like tracks her down and has to kill her. But she is one of the most powerful Jedi of all time, has like really off the wall powers like teleportation and stuff like that. And rocks a purple lightsaber. Like I called her the Dark Woman. She is Anya Kuro, and I love her. She was like the people who like the Padawans who are really impossible to train. They sent them to Anya Kuro. Anya Kuro was Aura Singh's Jedi Master before she gave up on Aura Singh, and then she went to become a bounty hunter. But yeah, so yeah, Anya Kuro. There's something I really love about this, like extremely powerful, but does her own thing, doesn't want to join the council, but like everyone goes, oh, you're gonna be hard to train, huh? You're a problem child. We got a teacher for you. Like the Dark Woman. How cool is it that a Jedi who's extremely light side gets the reputation as the Dark Woman?
Yeah.
Like, it's like she's super cool. So that's why she made it all the way down.
Wondering how she's able to keep her nails looking so nice.
Oh yeah, they look pretty good, huh? Yeah. Also, that lightsaber is really cool. It's like it's got like some vines and plants.
That is really cool.
Yeah. All right, I got one more Clone Era Jedi. And man, we're running out. Only a few Clone War era Jedis left. But I think you were probably wondering where he was. Do you want to guess?
Oh gosh. Yeah, just go ahead and
we got Plo Koon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I love me Plo Koon. Also, I believe Dave Filoni said it's his favorite Jedi too, which is really funny. Which is probably why he gets such good treatment in TCW. They don't really change him in the Clone Wars. He's one of the few characters that canon and Legends are rather similar. Like they don't really change much. But yeah, I mean, I love the Keldor and I love Plo Koon, and I don't want to keep going. He got done dirty in Revenge of the Sith, man. Didn't even get to use his lightsaber when he died. Lame. So. All right, you got anything about Plo Koon?
Wasn't he the one who found
Ahsoka? Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So. I was gonna say Ki-Adi-Mundi, but no, it was Plo Koon.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. It's like I'm jumping between different eras, and they all have a few really big, powerful guys. So we covered Voto C.S. Bosk. We covered Odan Ur and Naomi Sunrider. Now, there's two big ones left. Sorry, Kay Keldroma didn't make it. But you have Exar Kun and his apprentice. And now we got his apprentice because we got Ulic Keldroma.
Ooh.
One of the coolest characters of all time. An extremely powerful Jedi turned to extremely powerful Sith. And he is the Sith apprentice for Exar Kun. And it's after he kills his own brother is when he turns back. He goes, oops, I took it too far. And Naomi Sunrider and other powerful Jedi at that time, like, disconnect him from the Force. Like, they sever his Force. And then he later trains Naomi Sunrider's kid, like, as a, like, in the ways of lightsaber, even though he loses the Force. So that's how he gets, like, punished. Like, he doesn't get killed because he does try to come back, but they just, like, you're not allowed to have freaking superpowers anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, and Ula Kildrum was really great. And there's a couple other characters from this era I really want to have on here, like, what's her name? Savar. Can't remember, but that, like, the cat, Savar or something. But there was a couple other characters from this era I really wanted to have in here. But man, you think that 101's a lot, but once you start narrowing it, it's like, oh dang, I had to leave this person out, and this person out, and this person. So it was actually harder than it looked to do. And that's why I have to say, like, don't take too much stock into the order, because it was really hard to put these guys in order. So, man, all right, there's no way we're finishing this in 20 minutes. But Bastila Shan, so Satil Shan's ancestor. So Bastila Shan is Revan's, like, love interest in KOTOR 1. So she is the Jedi Sentinel rocking the double-bladed yellow lightsaber. She is really, really cool in the first game, and kind of goes down in history as being one of the cooler Jedi of all time. So I love Bastila Shan, and extremely powerful too. She has, like, extremely powerful battle meditation, like what we were talking about earlier, of, like, connecting people's minds together in battle. That's, like, her thing.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's
talk
a
more.
Pretty cool power.
Yeah, dude, it's super cool. But I want to move. I wanted him in my top 10. I wanted this person in my top 10, but I couldn't. Because, Luke Skywalker's got to go somewhere, right? So I kind of, dang it, like, got knocked out. I was able to put one, like, dark horse. I can't believe you put him in the top 10 But besides that, I had to put everyone who belonged in there. So Lucien Dre made it to 24. I love Lucien Dre. He's easily one of my favorite of all time. Shicho monster. And then, of course, has to hunt. He's the leader of the Jedi Seers, the Jedi Covenant, that kill all their own Padawans. And then he has to hunt down Zane Carrick, who was his Padawan. And then after Hazen blows everything up and Lucien loses his eyes, is when he finally can get the seeing powers of his own. Because it's like, he's like part Miralukan, but he ends up not having the powers to see into the future. So he becomes, like, kind of the enforcer of the Jedi Covenant. And then after he died, he kind of starts a new Jedi Covenant that are a lot more humble and monkish, because he loses his eyes and he can finally get those powers. But yeah, he's like this monster beatstick who learns humility in the most violent way. I love Lucien Dre. So that's it. That's my love letter to Lucien Dre. I just realized there's a character people are going to get mad I don't have on, who I don't have on. Because I don't really ever think of her as a Force user, even though she is in both canon and Legends. But I do not have Leia on here.
I was about to ask. I was curious.
Yeah, I don't. I think that one just she kind of slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
Because I don't really see, even in Legends, she doesn't have a huge, like, Jedi, like, she's there, but she's not, like, you don't really think of her as that. And especially in canon, they don't really go with that. And all right. I'm gonna one more thing about Lucien Dre. Actually, in second thought, nothing about Lucien Dre. I already covered everything. Love him. All right. Controversial one. Are you ready? He's not in the top 10. I'm sorry.
I'm so curious.
I got Mace Windu at 23. I'm sorry. I like the guy. Like, he made it to 23. There's really important characters he made it higher than, but, like, he's fine. He's interesting. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't love him.
I love Mace Windu. He's just like, I love that the whole scene in Revenge of the Sith when they're going after Palpatine, and he's just trying to stop Palpatine, and there's that is a really cool moment.
It's really intense.
That is an epically intense moment.
And then it all gets cut away by no. Sorry, that performance.
You have lost.
No, you're dumb.
But like, there's even the comics. I forget the series name, but the comics that Mace Windu is in that are canon, they were really enjoyable, and I don't know. I think he's a really interesting character, but
I apparently like him because he's at 23.
Yeah,
but
no,
I just feel like everyone
agree.
thinks he's gonna be in top 10, and he's just not.
Yeah,
and I have a Clone Wars era Jedi that isn't Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan higher than him, and I think that might get people mad. But sorry, he's not my number one. He's not up there. He's fine. I like him. All right, You ready to talk some real like I said, we're in the meat and potatoes now. Almost every character. Because I'm a weirdo, I had to explain a few of them, I'm sure. Because we're in the real. We got Ventress, yo.
Nice.
22. Oh man, are you happy with 22?
I mean, yeah.
All right, cool.
I think she had a really cool story arc where she went from being one thing to another thing to another thing.
She almost starts flat, like a really lame character.
Yeah.
But then they really do with her betrayal from Dooku, and then later on with her almost working alongside Jedi, but still staying herself. And it's man, it's a really cool character arc.
Yes.
I love Ventress.
And she has that connection with the other Dathomirian.
Yeah.
The
Night Mother. The
Night Sisters.
The Night Sisters. Mother Talzin.
Yeah. I think she's a really cool character and has a lot of development.
Yeah, I love Ventress. All right. Going back, we talked about his apprentice. We talked about some people he had to kill. We finally got Darth Bane, the founder of the Rule of Two. He's got to be somewhere, right? so yeah, could have had him a little lower, but I mean, Darth Bane's always interesting enough for me. I don't really love Darth Bane, unlike other Dark Sith Lords that are lower. And I mean, I only pretty much just have a couple that beat him, but I like that he's the Rule of Two guy, and that he kind of kills all the other Sith so he can get all of the power of the dark side, and that's super sweet. But he doesn't really do too much with it, and he kind of gets an apprentice, kills a couple more Jedi later on after he gets this whole suit of a living armor, and then he dies. And then he passes it on. He doesn't get to Palpatine. Palpatine doesn't Palpatine for 1,000 years still, yeah. Okay. I'm sure you're so sick of hearing me say KOTOR. So we covered 2 of this Sith Triumvirate, but of course Triumvirate means 3.
Yeah.
So we have Darth Nihilus, the Lord of Hunger.
Oh.
Because he just eats people's life. He just absorbs life at a planetary level. And it is sick. That's what he does. He's this evil dark wizard that just absorbs life energy. And I love Nihilus so much. That's all I got. If you have anything for Nihilus, we can move on. But I think he earned his spot.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I love how many different forms the Sith can take. Of an assassin, or political stuff, or kind of these dark wizards, and then you have Darth Sion, who's just this muscle-bound corpse that can't die, and then you have this dude who's pretty much just life energy hunger in robes, That's all he is, and it's like almost like a ghost or a ghoul, like he's not a man. And it's, oh man, it's so sick. Okay. The Clone War era Jedi who beat out Mace Windu, who isn't Obi-Wan Kenobi or Qui-Gon Jinn or Yoda. Kit Fisto.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Kit Fisto.
He has the best smile.
Yeah. I love his how well Phil Lamar brought him to life in TCW, like probably is why he's on this spot, like because he's kind of just like this goofy dude in the background in the prequel movies, but like he gets a lot of life thanks to TCW. Yeah,
I love the Gungan War, the episodes. Well, not Gungan, but when the Gungans came
to help
the Mon Calamari, and against the Quarren, and like that whole arc was just absolutely incredible.
Cool. So cool. I love the like of this idea of grabbing all the aquatic races and getting them together to help. Like, it's so sweet. And it's like, do we have an aquatic Jedi? Do we?
Yeah.
We got Frog-Faced McGee over here. I mean, Kit Fisto. Also, I love that a name as awful as Kit Fisto can get over the fact his last name is Fisto, and I can love him. Like, I love him on his own. He's the Shicho master. He is my Nautilin. He is so cool. But they named him Fisto. Why? Why did we do that? And that same part, why did they name the next guy Lord Poo Poo? But that's right. We finally made it into the teens, and it might be too high for some folk, but we made it to Dooku. Also known Count Poopy. I mean, what else do we have to say besides Christopher Lee's performance is insanely good. Some of the best performance of all of Star Wars. And I love everything Dooku stands for. I love, again, how he's kind of that different type of Sith. When you have, like, these, like, more savage Sith and, you know, like, these monster Sith. And, like, Dasan, who's a T-Rex man with a club. And then, or War Null, who's just armor. And then you have, like, this Count. This, like, this. Oh, take some green tea, and then I'm going to order you death, Mr. Bond. Like, that's how they go about for his villain. And I think it's so cool of, like, doing this aristocratic, elegant Sith. Like, his lightsaber is elegance. You know, like, that's so cool.
And the audio drama that they made for him is so good.
Oh, really? All right,
like,
good to know.
His past, just the story of him growing up and what he had to deal with as a young person, and then other books showing his lightning powers coming out like earlier, and there are so many wonderful canon stories about Count Dooku at a younger age.
It's good to know. Yeah, no, I know a little bit about his legends and canon stuff, but yeah, I love Dooku. All right. This might be controversial again because he's in the teens, but we got Qui-Gon. Yeah. I do stand by all these placements at the bottom because I do think that if you made it into the top 20, you're good. Calm down. Yeah. But because I got nothing but heavy hitters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Qui-Gon. I dislike a lot of his ideas, and I actually do think there is a little bit of gray, almost dark sidey there. He's kind of too much of an idealist for me, but I love how much he got done and how influential he is and how wise he was. And yeah.
So you don't think he should have influenced the dice?
No, you could do that. That's fine.
Okay.
He'd free the slave. That's fine.
Okay.
I think that he probably would have joined Dooku if he didn't die. No, and also catching Jar Jar's tongue always gets me mad.
Gotcha.
Like, tell him to stop. He's like, don't do that again. And it's like, oh! And that's what he does. Like Jar Jar goes, oh, because he just smashed his tongue. It's like, just tell him to stop. Like, and then, like, how mean are they? The Jar Jar right away. Like, who's this? A local.
Yeah.
Let him die. Whoa. Jerk.
Yeah, you're right. But later on, when it's about Anakin, I feel like
kinda...
Qui-Gon is way nicer to that kid than
absolutely,
Obi-Wan is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obi-Wan is a meanie to Anakin.
Yeah, and that's why he's not on this list. Definitely not in the top 10 or 5. All right, moving on. We got Darth Caedus, Jason Solo. Easily one of my favorite Sith of all time, clearly, because he made it this far up. I love this guy. I think he is pretty much the reincarnation of his grandpa. Like, he does everything that Vader wanted to do. And he's just so freaking powerful. And like, he's everything I wanted out of Kylo, like, of this idea of like living up. You have all this power and you have to live up to your family's clout and reputation, and you're like related to Luke. Well, it's Luke's nephew, right? And he's like trains under Luke and all this stuff. And it turns out he gets just a little bit of the wrong guidance from like Dark Lady Lumaya and like kind of whispers of from Palpatine, and he goes down that path, and you can see what that kind of power and in everything can lead to when you just get led astray. And he's also probably canonically the most powerful character in Star Wars. Actually, he's close. Like, yeah, because he becomes a being of pure force at one point. Like, he becomes just energy. Like, at one point, like, holy crap. Yeah. So, you got anything about Caedus before we move?
It's been years since I've read those books, but I remember really enjoying that character.
Yeah, he's great. All right. Now, I know you knew I was going to have her on here because I don't think you knew too much about this character before we started doing a podcast together, but I love Dark Lady Lumaya.
Nice.
With her Cat of Nine Tails lightsaber.
Yes.
She is just such this powerful, devastating. She's around in Legends for like so long, and she like pretty much like lives on as like Darth Vader's, not Palpatine's, but like Vader's successor. And also, she's just, you can't stop her. If she wants to kill you, you're dead. And she just has the most powerful, like, no nuance about it, just multiple lightsaber beams and like catorsis in like leather, and she just like, and it's like 9 feet long. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Just like, just this like light whip on crack. Oh man. Like, yeah, Dark Lady Lumaya, I have this. I've always, ever since I learned about her, I was like, who is that? And I've just loved Dark Lady Lumaya. All right. You got anything about Lumaya before we move?
Just that lightsaber it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, it does. All right. I had something else, but all right. We've talked about him a lot. But we finally have the ruler of the one Sith. We have Darth Krayt himself at 14. Really amazing character. I don't want to get too much into him now, but he literally becomes the emperor of the entire galaxy. Like, he wins. And with this really powerful army of both the Empire and then Sith at the same time, and how he kind of like how he has to pitch to the Empire that, no, really, the Jedi are more of a danger. So the Empire, who were like just the government at the time, go along with him to take out the Jedi. And then it turns out the Sith then turn on the government to try to take down the government. He ends up sitting at Coruscant in the seat as the Emperor at one point. Like, it's just so cool. Like, he's like this perfect mix of like amazing Force user, amazing lightsaber user, but also like amazing politician. And he's alive for like 200 years, and he's like imbued with Yuzan Vong stuff. And
oh yeah, those guys.
So cool. Yeah, no, I kind of had to glance over Yuzan Vong a lot, but there's a lot of people who are influenced by them here, and the legacy takes place after all the Yuzan Vong Wars, so a lot of their technology is kind of like implemented into the universe, and it's really cool. But yeah, anything about the amazing crate?
Those are some epic shoulder
pauldrons.
Shoulder pauldrons.
This is after his rebirth. He does get killed by Darth Weirdlock III, and then he comes back even more powerful. But he was kind of his armor was like living inside him as it was like kind of Yuzan Vong, and it was actually dampening a lot of him. And then after he died, it was able to get removed, and then he brought himself back to life without any of the limitations. And then he's just like, "You done messed up," and just like takes all the power back. It's so cool. Oh man. All right. Like I said, we're at nothing but the heavy hitters now. So he was 14. Sorry she didn't make the top 10. I apologize to everybody, but I stand by it. We got Ahsoka Tano at 13.
Oh.
I'm sorry. But like I said, there's really big names left. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
No, but I get it.
I love Ahsoka. And in this, like I was saying about kind of Ezra getting kind of dampened by her TV show, I don't see the TV show as dampening her legacy so much. I don't really love, as much as I love, how am I freaking Rosario Dawson as, like, I love that actress. Like, she's a great actor, but I don't see what she's doing. Like, I don't see her so much as like Ahsoka. Like, she's kind of taking the path, like taking her in a different direction, and it's kind of weird for me because she doesn't really seem like fun-loving, goofy Ahsoka. But I guess this is adult Ahsoka, so they're playing it differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like I said, I'm not letting that show tarnish anything. I think Ahsoka belongs where she is. She's what makes the Clone Wars. She's the heart of the Clone Wars, and like 100%. Well, she is. She's what makes TC. She is the heart of TCW. Like, she's what makes that show as lovely as it is. And then also the season they did, 10 years later, the last season when they came back, her fight with Maul is one of my favorite things in ever. Like, that is so good. Oh man. Yeah. Well,
that was an epic. So many people say like that was one of my favorite lightsaber battles, and it's a cartoon.
It's S tier for me. I like canon wise, I have like 4 S tiers maybe, and it's like that, and they all have Maul in them. So 3. It's like that, Duel of Fates, and then Obi-Wan killing him, and like that's S tier too. Like all 3 are like, anytime Darth Maul laces up his boots.
Yeah, but I actually, Ahsoka, the TV show for me was everything I had ever wanted in a Star Wars TV show.
Oh, there you go. Here I am talking trash, and you liked it, of course.
So for me, it was just like it was made for people who wanted all the little pieces. All the little tidbits and the details, and like from the past and from other things, and like it, instead of it being like The Mandalorian, which was made for anybody.
I love Mando. Yeah,
I felt like Ahsoka was made specifically for like people who read it all.
Yeah,
or consume it all. But
that's cool.
I don't know. That was I loved that show.
Remember what I said earlier about legends loving their hot redheads?
Yes. Oh, I think I know who's next.
Mara Jade Skywalker. Number 12. Not much I have to say about Mara Jade. If you're in the know, you already know. I love her in every way. I mean, she is such a cool character. I hate that she never made it into canon. Being like the other right-hand woman to the Emperor, and then later she tries to kill Luke, and then she falls in love with Luke, and then she ends up training with him and then becoming like part of his whole Jedi Praxium later on, and then being killed by Cadus. Like, come on, man. Like, Mara Jade. Like, yeah, she's so great. All right. You got anything from RJ before I get on to 11?
No, we're good.
All right, we're running out of old school Sith. I keep saying that, but no, finally. We got Crate out of the way. Now it's time to go the other powerful one at that time. We talked about Ulick. We talked about, oh my God, I'm forgetting words now. Nobi Sunriser. So finally we have XR freaking Kun.
Oh, yeah.
Number 11. It kills me that he's not my top 10. So if you're mad, I'm mad too. I really wanted to be it. And this is him eventually killing Voto CS Bosk in this. But yeah, his lightsaber is my favorite of all time, and nothing will ever break that. I love that he's just got this Sith armor. I love that he just pretty much turns half the Jedi and then just almost completely destroys the entire galaxy. And it all starts because he's like this dark side nerd Jedi who's like, hey guys, have you checked out some of these really cool holocrons? And they're like, yeah, those are the dark side ones, so we didn't really check them out. He's like, all right. Hey, where are more? And they're like, I don't know, man, check Yavin 4. And he's like, and then just his love of lightsabers and his love of like artifacts and learning more. He's like a nerd. Yeah. And then he finds all this power and he's like, I'm going to take over the galaxy. And I love XR Kun, man. I love him. So for people who don't know, his lightsaber is a double-bladed lightsaber, but it's the size of a normal hilt. And he twirls it around in his hand. But not only does he attack it with one hand, but at the same time, he is constantly changing the sizes of the blades on both of them. So you can't do anything. It's like a helicopter that's changing the sides. So you go to block, but it's now shorter, and then the longer one's coming at you.
Gosh.
Like, yeah, dude. Yeah, this lightsaber's so cool. Wow. And it's XR Kun, man. I love him. So
the story sounds really cool.
It's awesome. All that era, Tales of the Jedi, check it all out. Like that really old comic book that goes all the way through Ulick Drama, XR Kun, all the way up through this. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, we're finally in top 10. And I only have 3 Skywalkers in here because I forgot Leia. Now let me count. Yeah, I do. All right. First one, number 10. Let's get the Legacy era done. All right, I'm done with the Legacy era because we finally have Cade.
Oh. I
have Cade this high up. I apologize for people who don't get it, but I used to put him under Janna and Jason Solo, but like literally the more I read on I love Cade Skywalker. I love the Legacy era. I love it so much. I think it's super underrated. I think it's extremely cool. And I love his character arc of almost like neglecting the Jedi and hating the Jedi because that's how his dad died and how he wanted to be like a Skywalker. And then like, he just can't. And then he turns to the dark side and then comes out and he just wants to be a smuggler and do drugs and be cool. And he just has all this other stuff on his shoulders, and he ends up like pretty much needing to be the hero, and then he finally embraces his destiny and can take down Darth Krayt. But it's like, it's so good, his journey. Like does
he also
go ahead.
Have a mustache?
No, there's no mustache. I don't think so. Maybe it's like Peach Fuzz. No.
Okay.
I like his shotgun though.
Yeah, that's
super cool. His sawed-off shotgun blaster.
Yeah.
It's badass. All right, we're in top 10 now. So if you made it to top 10, it doesn't matter their order, and I maintain that because my number 9 is like, what? No, they made it to top 10. So you ready?
Yeah.
Palpatine.
What?
Number 9. Oh man, I stand by it. All right, I got one guy in here that's kind of just a little whack, but besides that, I stand by it. But yeah, no, I freaking had to. I don't find him as interesting as he could be. Like, he is just like the awesome, powerful Dark Lord, and that can only go so far for me. And it can go all the way down to 9. Like, that gets him down there. But like Dark Lord characters in fiction are only so cool. Like, because at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I'm evil and I'm going to take over everything. And they don't have a lot of nuance to them.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that he's just evil. He like, there's nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
There's nothing redeeming about, or no little nuance to it. But I do like his shifty political moves.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Also, it's my favorite art for him of all time.
I know, it's so good.
I use it all the time.
Then I love how Augie's Great Municipal Band at the end of Phantom Menace is just a happy version of the Emperor's
of the Emperor's
song.
Yeah, it took me so long to catch that. Yeah, no, it's so good. You ready for more what's? I gotta use them at some point, man. We're in the top 10. It could be anybody. It could be. I wanted to set the precedent, like he could have anybody. Like it was the top 10. I mean, where's Luke gonna be? It could be now. It isn't. It's Yoda though.
Oh, okay.
At 8. And he almost kind of falls under the same problem, is he's just super good. Like,
right.
He's a little more nuanced, but I almost wish that they kept his first encounter in the swamp Yoda. Because the first time you meet him in Empire, which I watched today, it's my birthday, I was watching Empire Strikes Back. He's messing with Luke, but he's goofy, you know?
Yeah,
and he's making jokes. And then it ends up that it's just to test his patience, and that's it. And then once he's done, he becomes like no nonsense Yoda. But they never really bring back playful Yoda ever. Well, he like maybe a tad here and there, but he mostly stays known. Like, you know, he's goofy or he makes a joke here and there, but he's not like goofy. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like High Republic Yoda is a little goofier.
I love him giving Kai Brightstar his lightsaber is a really cool touch, and I like that they can't have Yoda and High Republic as kind of like the through line, you know. Yeah. And he's not quite like it's in charge of everybody yet, so he's not like Yoda, but he's like almost there. Yeah.
There's one story, and I wish I could remember it, but it's in the comics. It's in the Young Jedi, not Young Jedi, in the High Republic Adventures comics. And it's something to do with this creature that flies that sucks blood or something. And Yoda makes a ridiculous joke. And I'm just like, did he really just say that? And I can't remember what it was, but it was something to do with this creature that sucks blood and was a
like,
pet.
Well,
it was like,
what is it, my ex-wife or something? Oh man. All right. Like I said, it's nothing but heavy hitters at this point. And it might come as a surprise to have him this low. And the next 3 are like, why are they in the top 10? But screw you, because it's my list. That's why. Because I got Revan at 7, and I love Revan. He's like all the way bad to all the way good to completely trying to take out Darth Vitiate. Like he is literally like the most important Force user of all time until the Chosen One. Like later on, I love Revan. And like he's almost like so powerful at it. It's like, I don't know. He almost becomes like a philosopher at the end of the day of like his extreme knowledge of the Force, because he's literally done everything from being a wayward knight to being a hardcore Sith to being the most pure good dude after his redemption. Like, I don't know, man. I love Revan. So that's my number 7. Did you think he was going to be pretty low down for me? Were you not surprised?
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people do really like Revan.
Yeah. I feel like he is almost like the poster boy of Legends at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got a different poster boy of Legends, a poster boy of Dark Side Legends, and he probably doesn't belong in the top 10, but I don't give a crap. Because I got Mulgus all the way down at 6. Because he is my favorite Sith with the coolest Sith lightsaber ever. It's just this big bladed lightsaber. And I love that he's like, what if Vader was on steroids? Like, absolutely love Mulgus, and he's not even like a Dark Lord. He's just another Sith, but he's just so cool. Oh my god, I can't not love Mulgus. So he probably doesn't belong at 6, but I don't care. Like I said, these next 3, like Rev and Mulgus and the next guy, it's like everybody else is gonna be like, what are they doing in top 10? I don't care. You know what, man? Mace Windu had to get out of top 10 so I could put these guys in. That's all. Sorry, Ahsoka. Sorry, Palpatine. Oh my god. And sorry, Qui-Gon. I'm sure people expected him to be in top 10, but
hey, it's your list.
Yeah, I know, and I wanted to say straight up, like, don't take it too serious, man. This is just us talking about 101 characters. That's all I really want to do today. Okay, where was I? Was at 6. You ready for 5? Top 5?
Yes.
All right, I finally have them. You've been waiting this long. This is where I got Kyle Katarn. Did you think he was going to be in top 10? Because I know that you know I love Kyle Katarn.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
He's like, I don't know, man. Talk about the other poster boy of Legends. Like, he's the other one. He was in it, like, because KOTOR was coming out this kind of at the tail end of when Dark Forces were coming out, but they weren't touching each other because one was like hardcore back in the day and the other stuff is like New Republic stuff. And then they liked, like, Kyle Katarn was so liked in those video games that he ended up becoming like this really important thing in the books, and he's like the battle master of that era. Like, he is the like beat stick, the Jedi who can take down anything. And I really love his like character story, his whole story arc of like starting off as a dude who tried to become a stormtrooper and he failed, and then he comes across like his dad who knew a Jedi, and his dad's dead. And then this Jedi ghost like tries to tell him how to avenge his dad. And then he ends up not fitting in with the Jedi, even though he becomes so powerful. So he becomes a Jedi outcast. And then he has to kill Desan. And then he finally joins their ranks. And he's just so powerful at this point because he's just lived outside of them. And he's like everybody else has been, grew up in the temple, right? And he's like, bro, I've been on the streets. And then Luke recognizes all this, and he's like, yeah, you're my mace, you're my battle master, you're my rock, you know. And man, I love Kyle Katarn. I got a massive man crush on him. So I love it. So who's left?
Luke.
Who
Obi-Wan.
else? I got 4 left.
Maul.
Yeah.
Luke, Obi-Wan, Maul. Is it another Legends one or
no? I'm out of Legends. We're done with Legends.
Out of Legends.
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting?
I don't know. You're forgetting the main character of Star Wars.
I said Luke.
The other main character of Star Wars.
And you said Leia wasn't in it.
Yeah. I don't know. You figure it out.
I feel like a moron. Oh, Anakin.
Yeah, Darth Vader. Yeah. I was like, I don't know, man. You'll
my
get there.
favorite character.
Yeah, I was wondering what the hell you're
my
doing.
favorite freaking character.
All right, so top 4, it can go either way with those guys, but I'm me, so I got Luke first. I like Luke. Of course, I love him. Like, I love Luke so much. I love the original trilogy. I love him in Return of the Jedi. I feel like it's his movie. And I love everything about his final fight with Vader. I love that whole fight so much. I absolutely love him in Legends for the most part. They kind of make him a little too powerful, but I even do like him in canon. I don't mind old grumpy Luke. It's # not my Luke, but I already have a Luke. I already have Legends Luke. Like, cool, give me a different Luke. There's definitely a couple things I don't like about those movies, which we've covered, but man, it's Luke Skywalker. You know, he's the only one here with a ranch named after him, right?
So the one thing that I wanted to say is that when Luke shows up in The Mandalorian, for me, I knew it was going to happen. I was like, my God, Luke is going to show up. They could have gone with someone like Quinlan Voss.
Yeah.
That would have been an incredible choice.
Or Kyle
but they
Katarn.
went with the easy choice and used Luke.
Yeah. Or Cal Kestis.
Like, there's so many more interesting choices. Like, Luke is great,
I also don't like
But-
the idea of the CG Luke. I wish they just recasted him, but
Yeah.
especially with like Sebastian Stan looking just like him. Like there's actors who look just like him. But yeah. I still love Luke in every way. But yeah. But I like these other three more. So who's next?
Well, you're probably going to put Anakin like not in the top.
So you think Anakin's next?
Yeah.
Nope, Obi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nope, I got two dark sides at the bottom.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
I like Obi more than Luke because I just find his character far more fascinating, and I don't really like the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show that much, because I think that it didn't need to happen. But I love old Ben like so much, but not only that, but I love seeing his transformation from kind of like a young like D-bag to like almost needing to, because he like came up through the war of like going extra peace and wise, and he's like the most calm center of the storm, and he's the Sarisu master of finding this defensive like battle style and then taking it to the highest degree that any lightsaber practitioner has ever done. Like it is so cool of like, he's the negotiator. He never like picks the fight. He lets people know. He'll sneak up on Grievous and he'll go, hey, because he's the negotiator. How cool is this character? Like he could have just jumped in, took out 5 Magna Guards, and then probably take out Grievous, but instead he just, hi there, and just surprises everybody.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, do we want to talk? All right, fine, we'll do this. And I don't know, man. He's my favorite Jedi.
So I have 2 issues with Obi-Wan.
Oh, man.
One of them is that he was so mean to Anakin when he was little, and he's just like, this boy is bad news and all this stuff in front of Anakin. Like this poor kid just got taken away from his mother and forever, and he's just just being mean.
It's George Lucas writing, though. You just got to remember.
And then the other thing is actually 2 things. Obi-Wan had the chance to put Anakin out of his misery twice.
And doesn't.
And he didn't do it.
Yeah.
That was just mean.
He's a little hardcore.
Killed him twice. And in those cases, killing him would have been the kinder thing to do.
Yeah, and you're probably right. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm won over by Ewan McGregor being the best performance of all the prequel trilogies. And
oh no, I mean,
maybe I'm just won over.
Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan is like near and dear to my heart. Like,
but no, you're bringing some really good points. But you know who my next 2 are, and you're gonna have just as many complaints about those guys too. Talk about mistakes. But yeah, he is my highest Jedi, and I want you to know, Vader's my number 2. So yeah, Anakin doesn't make it to number 2 for me, but Vader does. He's one of my favorite villains of all time. 100%. I just rewatched Empire and Jedi today, and for the first time, maybe it's just because I'm a dad and I've had a couple bad days, but like I almost teared up during Luke's scene with him at the end after he takes his mask off. Like I almost got emotional. I've seen these movies a million times, but I just want to look at you one more time, and like I want to look at you with my own eyes. And then he goes like you were right about me. Tell your sister you were right. And I was like, oh my God, I've never been hit like this before. Like I started wiping my face, and my wife's like, what? I'm like, nothing. Shut up. But like, I don't know. And then just this devastating, like suit of armor who in the first movie, and then, kind of for so long he's nothing but just this black suit that's really powerful. And then you find out all the humanity behind him. Like, he is not a piece of metal. Like, he is not just a pure black villain. And I like that they start off that way. And then you find out all the passion and all the anger and angst and like all this stuff that's rolled up. He's more human. He is extra human. He's too human. And he's got all these flaws. And it's almost that he feels too much.
Yes.
And that's what made him let the passion take over. And it's like, oh my God, as much as I hate the prequels writing and in a lot of the wooden, like I don't know why Lucas never did a second pass on his scripts, but he needed to. But like, even through this wooden crap, like really crap writing, it ends up so you got this really gorgeous character that's like, you can almost see why he let the anger win, you know, like,
yeah. Like, my thing has always been that Anakin loved too much.
Mm-hmm.
Just through the roof, like, didn't know how to control it.
I love my mom so much that I slaughtered a village. Not just the men, but the women and the children.
The children too.
The children.
And she's
too.
like,
Sorry.
To be angry is to be human.
Yeah, and she's like, it's cool, bro. It's cool, man, to be angry. I genocided, you psycho. I guess she's a politician. So she's like, we genocide all the time.
Oh my gosh. That one line is one that I have major issues with. I'm just like, Padme,
how
really?
She brushes away genocide.
Oh, it's fine. Whatever.
Shut up, man. Kiss me.
To be angry is to be human.
Kiss me, you genocidal fool. All right. Are you mad about my number one?
No, I think it's great. I mean, look, hey, perfect, right?
Yeah,
my shirt.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I know. I'm glad he wore it. Because I mean, it's Maul. Like Legends and canon, he's an S tier in both. Like, he's so good in Legends, and he's so good. He's like the one character they changed but made better, and like changed but made just as good in Legend or in canon. And I love all iterations of him in canon. Like, I love Clone Wars, like Sith Lord, and then later Crime Lord, and then I like his like ending in Rebels of like Old Man Maul. And again, talk about Ray Park single-handedly did the best like lightsaber choreography of anything ever, and that's why like Duel of Fates is as good as it is, because the actor they got to play Maul, and then later the actor they got to play his physicality in that fight with Ahsoka we brought up earlier. And then freaking what's his name, Sam Witwer doing the voice. He slaughters it as Maul. He is so good in all of his voice work for Maul. And I mean, we see Sam Witwer literally 3 characters, right? Because he's Galen Merrick the clone and Maul.
Yeah.
He's all over this list. But I know, I was wondering if people are going to be like, really? Darth Maul? Like, yeah, sorry, but yeah.
No, I think like, because he does have such a complicated story arc, and he goes just, I mean, all over the range of what you can be as a character. But he starts out, you think he's this animalistic beast.
Well, he is.
And well, yeah, but there's so much more to it than that.
Well, and this discarded, and him finding out that he was always just a placeholder. He was never supposed to be a Sith Lord. Dude, his ending is insanely good. Like, his like, so is the Chosen One over there? Yeah. Is he gonna save us? Yeah. And then he dies. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, oh my, the ending fight with Obi-Wan is easily, like I said earlier, it's S tier for me of just Obi just slicing and getting him just like that. But afterwards, when he holds him, he's just like, you're protecting the chosen one, huh? And he's like, yeah, thanks. Like, he's almost like, please find somebody to save us, like tortured people who the Force, whether it's light side or dark side, is just tearing us apart. Just make it stop. Like, it's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm such a nerd.
It's so beautiful. It's really good though. It's really good.
Yeah. You got anything else? This is 3.5 hours.
I do also really enjoy I believe, oh gosh, I want to say it was Clone Wars when Savage and Darth Maul go up against Palpatine.
Oh, Palpatine, yeah, when Palpatine kills Savage. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's insane.
That is epic.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. That's A tier, like lightsaber fight. Like,
yeah.
Like most battles that Maul touches are the best.
And that whole episode, like, you see how little Maul meant to Palpatine.
Oh yeah.
And it's just heart-wrenching. Like, even though he's a bad guy, you're just like, oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah. Well, and he's like, Master, he's like, yeah, no. I didn't come here to help. I came here to kill you. He's like, you're now competition. It's like, holy crap. Yeah. He's like, dude, I was going to let you go, but you picked up an apprentice, which means there's 2 of you, which means you're another rule of 2, and it means I have to kill you.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah, no, it's such a cool character. All right. I'm going to start to get out of here. I want everyone to know, please, I hope you didn't take this list uber serious. It was kind of more of just an excuse on Star Wars Day for us to talk about 101 characters. And if your favorite character made it on here, if your favorite character didn't, I'm sorry. There's a couple Jedi and a couple Sith I thought of later on, even while we were filming, like, oh man, I left this person out. There was just so much. And I wrote it under a couple weeks, and then I kind of forgot because I didn't think we were going to end up using this. And then me and Marie decided like 2 days ago, this is going to be what we were going to do instead of something else. So I was like, oh crap. And I had to try to polish this list back up. And you know, I did my best. And I'm mostly stand by it. At least everyone on it, opposed to the placement, maybe not, but you know, maybe having Kyle Katarn in top 10's a little nuts. Maybe Mulgus should have been a little lower. Switch him with Palpatine, I don't know. But I don't care. We got to talk about things we love and we're passionate about. So you got anything you want to say before I get out of here? Just
thank you so much for having me on again. Yeah, it's great talking Star Wars with you.
My birthday. Yeah. We'll do it again next year. I was trying to do at least one Star Wars video for my birthday. So
I love it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. And peace.